82 million, I think was the cap, or 83.
Oh, holy shit.
It's as I checked today, it was about 74.
Yeah, we're getting there. And at the end of term 1, it was almost at 39 million. 41.
Weren't we at like 50? Oh, 39. Holy shit.
We got pretty low there.
Holy shit. So we're raking it in right now.
Yeah,
Well,
and
it's enough.
So I like the idea of transparency. I've been filling out that report, by the way. I don't know if you've been peeking
I have seen
it. So
this is for the future, Max, and I'm not opposed to what you're trying to do with a golden age or not. Like I said, that's if you say that, for example, your platform that you wanted to run on, and the next mayor or whoever that mayor afterwards, and they're asked about their fiscal policy and say that this is how I want to do it, and they do it, then as long as it's done in a way that is responsible, that's fine. This is not just for a now, this is for everybody. Max, I'm going to give you a quick example of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Craig, 5 years ago, explain to me what happened to the state account with the mayors.
I mean,
for the record, the treasurer prevents that from happening, whatever it is, because I know that it's probably about embezzlement.
Hey, I'm gonna step in here and not to. I don't want to be a damn inhibitor. Okay, I hate inhibitors. However, I'm just taking a look at this and the way things are trending and whatnot. And yeah, the point is that this is going to be for the future, sure. But like, and I ain't no damn hell. I don't even know what it's called, ecologist or whatever. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm the same thing. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right? I mean, let's just if things are trending as positively as they are, why don't we just put a pin in this until it looks like it ain't ending up that way? I mean,
I'm with Cornwood. You guys know what I say. Let the kids work in the coal mines.
Yep.
Yeah, hell. That's why we got debtors prison.
So fair enough. Okay. So yeah, I'm not. Hold on. I'm not trying to break anything with this. I'm not trying to put. Oh, someone just deleted something there, Max.
Nope. Actually, no, it was me. It was me. I accidentally. I got it.
So I'm not trying to break anything.
The numpad enter. My foot's on my desk.
Continuing with it, and it's ensuring that if something does happen, people understand why things happen, right? For the salary side to it. It's also saying that anyone, for example, like Andy, who came in here and requested $700,000 for the funds, that information is then signed off by both, and so it's not like a, hey, who the fuck just took out $700,000? This is an accountability aspect to it where it's duly signed off, and so it's not just saying, hey, for example, Andy's really good friends with Max right now, and this could look really bad if only Max signed off on it. You have now 2 people signing off for it, and it has already been approved. These things are basically to ensure that if something does go through, that the information being presented and out there in the future has been vetted.
He's trying to make his job important.
Like
I love it.
Cover your ass legislation.
Correct.
Essentially.
Correct.
I
think
that's
all fine. And I think that's all fine.
He's giving himself veto power.
I'm not giving myself any veto power.
Murphy.
It is veto power.
Murphy.
I can call it for what you want, Murphy, but if that's
I'm
what you
not
want to put it
comfortable
as.
giving an unelected member of the council veto power.
I'm not comfortable also with previous mayors that have bought bombs from me, controlling everything in the fucking state.
Well, I mean, to be fair, this ain't previous mayors.
Okay, that's
I mean,
entirely fine.
This is somebody who, I mean, I feel like things have been trending in a positive direction, and we just got to let the turkey finish cooking, right?
There are certain aspects of this that I like a lot.
Max, I want to cut through this because I want to ask you something.
Sure.
You and I have discussed in pretty good duration, what I thought about, TJ coming in here and being treasurer and, the things that I felt you guys agreed upon, right?
Right.
And, I learned some things that you told me that I didn't realize that made you guys, I think have similar viewpoints on things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to hear primarily from you, like your breakdown of this, what you like, what you don't, and what you suggest, if any changes.
Okay. So for the example given was the Andy Jones presentation or whatever. I like the process we've been doing with that, which is we'll invite people into the council meeting, and then they can give their presentation, and then we all decide right then and there if we want to give this person money for their event. I also like the idea of the treasurer. For example, TJ has a storied history in Los Santos, so he knows what is good and not good in the realm of proposed event funding. I like the idea of the treasurer having the sole power. Maybe not. Maybe sole power is not the right word. I like the treasurer. Actually, no. Yeah, I like the idea of someone being able to call the treasurer and be like, "Hey, here's my event idea." The treasurer then being like, "Okay, is this event cool and high effort and deserving of a financial reward or not?" And then I like the idea of the treasurer deciding yes or no. If they decide yes, then they record what they did and then just post it in the fucking reports for us to see. With like a time and like withdraw and like who it went to and their state ID, blah blah blah. I like that idea a lot. It's what I tried to encourage Edda to do multiple times when it was brought up. I don't think she was putting herself out there specifically for that, and maybe that's our fault that we didn't.
Oh, I had weeks of discussions with her about it, and then she just like told me to fuck off, basically.
Yeah. I don't know if she was motivated to do that. I don't know if she wanted to do that. I don't know if maybe it would have been better for us to officialize precisely that particular power for the treasurer. It was heavily implied multiple times that she had that kind of power, though, if she so pleased. Like, we trusted her to be able to do that. So what I like here is I'm looking for the section in particular that I'm thinking about. Looking. Wish there was a search function. I like state funds are subject to information requests. Love that. I
just want to be clear, you know what that means, right? Like any lay person can ask.
Of course. So long as you're willing to do that work as the treasurer, because you have access to the state account and potentially future exports and stuff. So it could be a lot of work.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, it's a continuing and ongoing thing. So, for example, how that would go, right? And this is how I envision it: is, for example, Andy put together the notebook, right? I go ahead, put that information into what we have as a publicly, well, actually, it won't be publicly viewable, but it'll be a repository of information. If someone wants to request that, I can then say, here's what the funds went for, here's what was actually paid towards, and then here's the signature that came onto it, right? Those things are available and it should be ongoing. It shouldn't just be like a bolus of information. This is as they come up.
So yeah, I love all of Section 6. I love the idea of me because it's very satisfying for me to be able to, for example, fill out that fiscal report that I've been doing in reports. I love doing that. I have always been a huge proponent of transparency. I pushed. It could have been the first or the second meeting for someone to film so that they were publicly available. The contents of this meeting entirely. I wouldn't mind if all of our reports internally right now were public. I wouldn't mind if someone could go and get the export for the state account and see where everything is being spent right now. I would love for Section 6 to just be the norm. Section 8, can you explain your thought process on Section 8?
Yeah, it was mainly as what had been discussed from last week, a lot of what would happen from the Cantor side, and just basically making sure that things aren't done from either now or in the future with malice towards a specific group or something that had happened until something had been resolved. If there's no valid justification for things happening, why do those happen or why should they occur? So the proposal, as put on there, with justification for including financial forecasts, shall then be forwarded to the council for discussion. I.e., those changes goes through everybody, which the council then has a vote on. We go in here and say, hey, listen, hey, PD's been fucking killing it. We have the quota system. I want to up their base pay by 5% overall as an entirety. What do y'all think? Yes or no? Yay. Okay. Passes. Cool. So majority vote for the council. So when you're saying that Treasury has a sole veto power, no, I'm giving power to everybody.
Like how we did it at the start, and it worked just fine then.
it worked fine, but it was slow. And there's another aspect of this that is somewhat concerning with me. Is, you know, what if one day, TJ, you just disappear? You know, any attempt to make any adjustments to this stuff would sit in limbo for weeks until we determine whether or not you're going to come back. And then we're going to have to wait even longer for another treasurer to be picked. So there's going to have to be more interviews for that. So it could be like an almost month process where the mayor's ability, which was formerly instant, is then bogged down in this sort of like limbo bureaucracy where we have to establish another treasurer, teach them, and then, you know, get them on board with the whole process.
It's the craziest what if he just disappears?
Well, I mean, well, for example,
look, quite some
well, no,
I thought you were against what if.
Okay, so this isn't about you because I know you're here. Okay, but what in the future, what if you take a vacation? What if we can't get into contact with each other? Where's Solomon Walker? You know, he was just elected. He couldn't even make it to the second fucking council meeting. Where is he?
Apparently.
Yeah,
Crane explained.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, he's got the consumption. You know, I don't like the idea of it being bogged down in bureaucracy. I like being able to go out there and speak with people and figure out what's wrong. Last night, I took my wife's bike to Mosley's, and Angus, a solo mechanic working out of Mosley's, told me, hey, I haven't had repair parts for 5 days. It is impossible for me to compete with places like Milton's because they are buying up all the stuff, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, is there anything you can do to make this better for us? And I said, And then I remembered there was a 13% tax on all mechanic supplies. I was like, yeah, I could make it easier for you. I could go change the mechanic tax down to 0% to give you guys the ability to actually potentially convince someone to come into Mosley's and pay the 3.4K down from 4.1 for a one across, and to pay 9.6 or 9.9 for an engine replacement instead of 12,000. So we had that conversation. It was a 3-minute conversation. I was like, yeah, I'll go do that right now. I went back to my office, changed it. He called me a minute later and said, oh my God, it worked. Like, this gives me a ton of hope, especially during the shift 3 hours, where we feel like, where I feel like I can actually operate, and to convince people to maybe bite the bullet to pay that 3.4K. And that whole interaction, it was 10 minutes, but like, what does that interaction become when we involve this whole extra process?
I got an idea actually.
Yeah.
Max, you speaking made me kind of think of this. What if there's a compromise between the two options? What if there's like a sole authorization adjustment limit, and then for anything more like extremely drastic, then that would need a sign off. Wouldn't that be like, because that way you could do the day-to-day and impact things, you know, as needed based on the feedback you get. But you know, you would need to talk to the treasurer about, you know, doing something that's more extreme, right? And I don't know the numbers. I obviously saw the notes you put in. You go from like 175 to 125.
Right.
I mean, what if like you could go, you know, 80 to 1, you know, whatever it is, right? I don't know, whatever, like maybe you go 2/3 each direct. I don't know. The numbers could be figured out, but what if there's some kind of compromise there?
That's kind of how it worked when I first entered office, and I first lowered taxes as low as I possibly could. I was informed that I could only do 20% of the current value.
Sure.
And it sucked cock. I'm going to be honest. I hated
it. Well, that was a hard stop on that. What I'm saying is you could still do that. Just you have to talk to somebody about it.
It wasn't a hard stop.
That was a hard no.
Well, it was a hard no from the past. It wasn't actually confirmed that I couldn't do that. I respected what was the case in the past because I didn't want to step on any toes. Fortunately, the state, in all of its benevolence, has given the ability for the mayor to make more active and decisive decisions, because situations like last night with Angus, Bozo, the clown, could happen. Yeah. And that could have never happened in the previous system. And it would have taken, like Cantor said, a week at most to do a change that could have happened at the snap of a finger, essentially. I think that we owe it to the people.
You don't think the Angus situation could have been resolved with a less drastic adjustment?
No, And that's a whole different issue because I'm pretty ear to the ground when it comes to the materials market right now. As you can see with my adjustments right now, I'm kind of working it back up to where it was before. I want to see how it impacts the state account. But I think ultimately the people of Los Santos deserve someone who can respond to Angus the way that I did last night. I think that they deserve somebody who is able to wield the powers that have been given to them by the state efficiently, effectively, quickly, decisively.
I'm sure all the government factions love that they can be punished for giving you a speeding ticket in an instant. That's great. Big fan of that.
Okay.
So I like a compromise here with what Graham was kind of proposing with this, and I just want to caution you, Max, of how that can also be seen. Is that should someone, this Angus person, be your personal friend, and they're looking for a little bit of a hey, how can you help me out? That also could be seen pretty negatively on top of it.
Yeah,
and what's to say,
he is my friend for the record. We are friends,
right? Fair. And so what's to say, oh, you did this for this person, why aren't you doing it for that? I get what you're saying with that. Believe me, the swiftness of it, following the fact that we do meet once a week on top of this, so following council approval, final sign off required from both. Should I not be there? Whatever. We can just say basically, hey, listen, if the council approves it, that's fine, right? It doesn't have to be from, as your sticking point would be, both treasurer and mayor for the salary adjustments. It should be council approval as a whole. And so you don't have to wait on me should something ever happen to me, which is a concerning question that you bring up.
Well, no, because people go on vacation all the time. It wasn't like a you might get killed thing. It was more like a, what if you just have to be gone for like 2 or 3 weeks,
That's entirely fine. Then the council would have the ability to approve that as well, and that could be enacted upon. It's a compromise in between these.
I'm all for things being responsive, like the mayor said, and I'm all for there being checks and balances, like the treasurer wants. What I think is like the ideal situation is the treasurer has every right and ability to audit what the mayor does or what the council does in the past tense. Like if they see a spending issue, to bring that here specifically and itemize and say, hey, I feel like these expenditures are bad. Hey, I feel like this pay raise needs an adjustment, and be heard on that basis, rather than have some kind of
what's the
a broad spectrum of powers and a veto sort of thing.
I just removed the whole veto thing on there, Murphy.
Okay.
And on top
some
of
of the stuff I think we could pass right now, but I think a lot of it.
Imagine, for example, PD making the case. They actually come in here and say, hey, we would like ideally to be paid more. Or as Crane just put in here, the judges, they want to be paid more. Or as EMS came in here, let's make their use case scenario and say, hey, all right, we're going to come in. If you truly feel a certain way about this, put your shit together, come in here, present it. Put your money where your mouth is. Tell me where you're at. And then we decide.
See, I thought that was for the liaisons to take care of, to bring forth to the mayor's office, because right now it's the mayor's office that determines. So
either or.
The veto thing is still in here, by the way. Thanks for actuallying me.
I didn't delete it yet, but we were discussing it.
Yeah, he meant like the previous point of discussion was removing it.
TJ, where are you from?
Where am I from?
Yeah.
What's that supposed to mean? Like,
where the hell did you live before you moved to Los Santos?
I mean, I've been in Los Santos for a very long time. Why?
You sound like Michael Simone for a second.
I don't sound European.
He sounds like he's from the South to me.
I do have a Southern relative that kind of sounds like this, but that's not me though.
Oh,
okay.
Don't talk like that. That's weird.
I
know. Deport him.
All right. So if we look at this, if I remove following council approval, the final sign off will be required for judge and mayor. Just put the council reserves right for final approval. That makes sense? It's on 8 there.
I've said my piece. I've done my talking.
So no more. Okay. What is it going to say instead?
So following council, the council, I mean, I can wordsmith it, but basically the council, after council vote, approval has occurred, etc. These things are subject to be changed immediately afterwards.
So mayor can do all the. Wait, is that just government salary or is that all salaries?
That says government and public workers.
So that includes sanitation and.
Well,
everything.
I guess I should.
Under Section 3
basically,
definitions, it says all
yeah.
pretty much everything, all monies and state
Okay.
funds.
Yeah, anything that is paid out of the state account.
Which is everything.
Yeah.
So wait, isn't it harder to get the council vote than just the treasurer sign off?
Well, the way that I guess it was being interpreted was that I have a final veto on if I don't like it or not. So that's what the removal
It says
is.
there's an and phrasing, right? As both the treasurer and the mayor final sign off,
Right.
which would imply veto power if you don't sign off on it.
Right. That's what we're removing. So that's why I have it highlighted down there.
Alright.
So that would be, I would just wordsmith that slightly to take out that portion of it and have the council has the power for it.
So that means the mayor's only going to be able to make adjustments once a week.
Well, unless we meet as a side part to it. But yeah, it's something as drastic that is, well, not as drastic per se, but something that affects public view or public funding on top of it should at least be discussed. Yeah. I mean, a week's not a terribly long spot.
Hell, I'd rather be in
I don't
favor
think
of
so.
just the mayor and the treasurer doing it together and
Well, that's
doing it
kind of
on an as going
what I
basis.
would like. But that's what he brought up as a possible issue. I would rather work together, but yes.
How about mayor and the treasurer, and if for some reason one side vetoes it, it can be brought to council by the person who pushed it. So it's still, if vetoed, can be seen. How about that?
Or if treasurer is absent, one or two.
Or if treasurer's
Or
absent.
mayor's
Yeah.
absent.
It doesn't stop anything.
So it can be done instantaneously if needed.
I look.
That way you can never be vetoed fully.
In theory, I love this idea. What the reality of the situation is, though, similar to how we kind of got bogged down term one, suggesting penal code changes and stuff, which is ultimately kind of a bastardization of what our intended purpose as the Council of Eight is. I am afraid that stuff like this would bog down our already long meetings with stuff that I could handle almost instantly. We're making it too top heavy for the meetings, and it's taking away valuable time that we could be spending on. In theory, if this were to pass, we would have to dedicate, maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours to going over all the proposed ideas or changes, and then we've got hours after that to go through the actual meeting that should be enriching and fleshing out life in Los Santos.
No, I agree with you in that. That's where I think Cantor was just making her point, is that we can do this, you and I, without needing the entirety of the council side to it. Should something need or we disagree, you bring it to that.
Yeah. My proposal is just that if he vetoes you, you can still bring it here.
Right.
So
I don't think that we will disapprove very often, my friend.
I don't think so either. But at the end of the day, I think this is a unnecessary bureaucratic tape. And as the head of bar said, I think that it is small overstepping because you are an unelected official. You were selected by the Chief Justice. You are his clerk, essentially. And I think that as I represent the majority of
I don't know too much about the clerk.
Sorry, clerical position. As the majority elected,
I gotta vote just as you and everybody else. We all have a vote here.
Okay, fair. as the
Don't
majority
put
elected.
me down in some shit.
I'm not putting you down because I'm super impressed with this, and I'm super impressed that you took the initiative to do this. And it is not a simple thing that you just tried to do right now, even without Solomon Walker, who I know is in your gang, who I know that if he was here, you would have a much better chance of passing this. But you still came here and you fucking tried, and that speaks so much to your fucking character that I'm actually super impressed. I'm super fucking impressed. That said, I don't think that right now, with my history and my record, that it is warranted for a selected position like the treasurer to have as much power as is stated in this document as the mayor, who I currently represent the majority of the people in Los Santos.
While that may be your thought with that, I'm not sure why you go to Solomon and gang and make that a part of it. That's kind of an interesting.
Well, no, I highlighted that because it speaks to your character and your intentions to me. I know that this isn't just a power grab for you, and I said that as a compliment, and I want the people to know that you are TJ Walker, the treasurer, and not TJ Walker, the ADMC member. I want people to know that because I respect what you brought forth, even though the odds were stacked against you in this meeting. That's why I brought it up.
When I interviewed, I'm going to once again put this out there. If you want to bring it up and you want to continually put on the side that I'm ADMC, that's the first thing I said to Crane. If this is an issue, I put it flat on the table. When I come here, business is business.
I told him that already. Okay.
Yeah. I know.
I leave all that shit on the table. My purpose of being here is for the betterment sides of the city. And you may not think that this is needed now.
I'm not being sarcastic, TJ. I'm genuinely complimenting you.
What I'm saying is that, Max, when whatever hell happens to you at some point in time and you go sail off into the sunset and everybody else around this table at some point in time may no longer be here, that the vision that we're doing with this is as for the betterment of the city. You may not think that you need it now, and you may not, and we may not have to do this. But what I'm saying is that this is setting something that has grounds for the future on top of it. Max, when I say that I have lived through an era of more corruption than anyone else in this room, I probably mean that.
I don't disagree. I've heard stories.
As a strong ass founding fathers argument right there. He's basically saying that we should be like, some of those religious men who voted to not make religion a part of their state.
Much to their dismay.
He's saying we should basically limit ourselves, not for fear of ourselves, but for love of the future.
My issue is that I think the limiting is directly detrimental to fast-paced life in Los Santos, and I think the people appreciate a mayor who can respond to them at the drop of a hat, and it is something that I've tried to do term 1 and something that I'm trying to do term 2, and I think it's something that I've done extremely well.
I'm just putting it out there. I just don't want those things, as you described how you responded to it, to be seen as favors or one-offs for individuals that may show favoritism in a certain way. It's not hard. It may take a solid 5 minutes. That's it.
So here's what happens, okay? I do favor the people. I want them to make money. I want them to make money at the expense of the state. I want them to feel like I am there for them. And if it ever seems like I am doing something that is demonstrably corrupt in favoring a certain group, that's why you have the ability to export the state account and figure it out. And the check and balance is you suggesting impeachment.
Quite yet.
Well, it's a pretty easy process. The check and balance is you suggesting my impeachment to the council. That's the check and balance. It's a very simple one too. If you can prove that I've been corrupt, bring it to the council. I get impeached.
So let me also just put this out there. Crane, just quick thing. When you all put together the Constitution side to it, nowhere in here do I mention impeachment, by the way. When you put together, impeachment doesn't have a statute of limitations, does it, Crane?
Say what?
Impeachment doesn't have a statute of limitations, does it?
I mean, impeachment would just be a
Oh, hold on.
impeachment. Wouldn't impeachment just be like a hey, this fella's not
Impeachment is not a.
fit
It's
to
not a.
lead?
It's not a
It can
criminal
happen at any
proceeding.
time.
It's
Yeah.
it's a bureaucratic proceeding essentially. That's handled separately from civil or criminal codes.
Correct. So you're not
So
subject
it would
to
not
30
it would
days.
not be subject to a statute of limitations.
So Max, when you just said that you made a decision that you should have been impeached upon your last thing that Edda did not catch on you, isn't that technically still at this point impeachable?
Which one?
Or last week when you said you acted in a corrupt manner and making sure Cornwood kept his job.
Well, it wasn't really corrupt. I mean, I don't.
He
hold on.
stated it.
I'm
Wait,
putting
what
these
are
words
you guys
his
talking
exact-
about?
No, his
I'm
exact
putting-
words.
No,
I'm gonna clarify this
Corin,
shit.
let them say it because Cantor's been sniping
Okay.
at me the last 2 hours, and I want her. I want to
Okay.
hear it from her mouth, please.
Sure, that was it. Since we're bringing these things up, you've admitted twice to corrupt things.
What was that?
Last meeting, you brought up that it was a reach of your power, an overreach of your power to
Potentially an overreach.
get-
Oh.
Right. Perfect. So someone should look into that probably.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe you
so-
should.
Here's the part,
I'm
right?
a doctor, Max. I actually have a job.
Well,
Like
if you were a doctor, then you would have probably spent your time term 1 advocating for doctors in EMS instead of having my wife write the only fucking thing you brought to this table. Cantor,
What are you even referring to on that?
drug scheduling. That's your one contribution medically.
You know that Norman Adams wrote that, right? And she didn't.
You
write
didn't
it
even
down.
write
I
it!
did say,
Other
I
than
did
what we
say,
did
I
together.
did say that when I
She even
presented
said
it. Just
that.
throwing that
It
out
was
there.
Norman
But I
Adams.
amended-
What have you
amended
done
my
for
news.
your people if you cannot even do
Numerous
one thing?
things, Mac.
What?
If you actually paid
Even I
attention,
knew
I've
Norman
passed
Adams.
numerous pieces of legislation. I pushed for
Go
a
on.
pay raise.
Good work.
Sure, I might have pushed for things that other people wrote as well with the drug scheduling.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got PIPA.
HIPAA?
I've got.
Okay. Very good.
All right, let's see here. Let me pull this up.
3 months, by the way. 3 months.
All
What else?
right,
What else you got?
I brought PIPA. I've got FAFO. I did the testing for the drug scheduling. I brought forward an economic thing, which has been taken over by TJ. I was happy to work with him on, as well as the more recent, dubbed horny tags.
Are you?
I'm
are
also one of the loudest people in these meetings to make sure that I can advocate for my staff and the people of the city.
Did you you pull that from the Discord announcement your husband made, or is that like off the top of your head? The one that told people to vote for you?
If you can read, it didn't say that.
Okay, hey, let's go. Let's bring it
But no,
back
it's
in
okay,
here real
Max.
quick.
This is very clearly you just saying you want to maintain the ability to punish and reward anyone at will so that they will do your bidding.
Well,
If you want that power, sure, I'll vote yes. Let's go. Fuck it. It's going to pass anyway.
the thing is right now I'm dealing with TJ, who is a good man, who is an unelected official, and I'm dealing with someone who cheated to get elected. And you are trying to tell me what is and
I
is
didn't
not
do
impeachable.
anything there, Max. Yeah, okay. Then do something about it.
Well, see,
If
here's
I
the, here's
apparently did something so bad, then fucking do something about it other than extorting me by punishing both EMS and doctors and saying that the only way you will raise the pay is if I admit to a felony offense, which would have me made ineligible to sit on the council, which would mean that you have one less person to vote no to you.
That's fair. But at the end of the day, I think I would much rather prefer someone like you in that chair that I know is not a threat, as opposed to someone who might have been elected fairly, who might actually propose and act as a threat actively to me in these meetings.
Max, I got 60% of the vote.
Cheated.
How much could I have done to do that when we have over 60 active doctors every month? And I got 47 votes, which is 60% of the vote. You can keep making this shit up. I think you're so far up your own ass you think I actually cheated at this point, when that is clearly not what this is. And you know what? I even spoke to the person who showed you that today. They
Yep.
admitted it to me. And they're fine. I do not intend to out them publicly because I don't want them getting hate for it.
Yeah, you don't want to fire them in retaliation like you've done to other doctors, right?
I have not fired anyone for retaliation. About
Okay,
speaking
what
to
about
you.
the-
I fired
what
one
about the guy-
doctor for giving you splints?
You
which,
fight.
we were told our pay could not be raised if we let that continue to happen.
No, You were told your pay will not be raised if you cannot fire inactive doctors after 3 weeks.
This was early. This was early on. It was one of the first things that Crane and Etta told me. Doctor pay cannot be increased while medical supplies are being handed out. And y'all, because you think you're so fucking special and can get away with everything, took that from an intern who had to be let go.
You're talking about my wife when she was injured at the prison?
Yes. So technically, I didn't know that part. Amori broke 2 rules in that fact. There you go.
Okay. So you didn't fire her because she helped my
leg
wife?
was broken.
No, not because it's your wife, because she admitted to giving out medical equipment, which from the tippy top of Derek Shaw is one of our 2 rules that we cannot break.
Your husband. Oh, no, it's
It
Fraser.
was used
Fraser.
in the
My bad.
prison. It
Sorry.
didn't leave the prison. She gave it to me and it was used in the prison.
They
My
are
leg
not
was
to take
broken.
medical supplies anywhere outside of the hospital, including the prison. That's been told to them many times.
Okay.
Yeah, I can confirm that. By the way, that's not even their decision. That's
She didn't
like
give it. Wait, she didn't
that's
give it
the
to me.
state.
She just healed. She just used it.
That is
Yeah,
also
that's
against
even
our rules.
worse.
Yes,
That's
that
even
is
worse.
that is worse. That is actually worse. If she was signed in out there, that is even worse.
Look, I'm not gonna join in the personal shit you guys go back and forth. But if you're gonna start talking about doctors doing medicine outside the hospital, and Jesus, yeah, that's like a non-starter.
So, I mean, where were we?
So
What was the other impeachable thing? I'm curious.
Well, it was actually what you had said just not too long ago in the meeting in regards to things that you had done that should have been under investigation that were impeachable, which is the actual quote that you just said.
Potentially impeachable. What I'm trying.
Okay, can I? It's just I'm gonna step in.
Yeah.
Knowing
that's
Max as well as I have over the first term, I can almost certainly guarantee you that any comment he made to you about something being impeachable or whatnot is one of 2 things. Either one, it is him being extremely tongue-in-cheek and using hyperbole to make a demonstration regarding the fact that essentially nothing he has done with his public powers is actually worthy of impeachment.
Boom.
And thus he's baiting someone into acting on something that he finds humorous, that they would even consider it. Or number 2, it is something that is completely fictitious that he is baiting you with, because not only there is one more thing that I think he likes more than being tongue-in-cheek at people, and that is lording over them after his long-term concocted plan succeeds. Max fancies himself a mastermind type personality who thinks he can control all the little puppets and blah blah blah. So I don't believe any of this shit for a second that he's done something actually impeachable with the public powers. And I think that he is basically just being a smug little dickhead texting to his girlfriend over there. So that's my consensus.
I just pulled my phone up.
Yeah, and that's what you were doing.
Well, I had a conversation with my wife last night where we literally almost word for word predicted that is exactly what you would say.
Well, that's the reality. I'm not saying it because I'm wrong.
Well, you're not wrong. That's the thing.
Yeah, I know.
All right. So to go back to the actual thing that we were discussing.
Sorry about that there, TJ. Yeah.
Yeah. So the assessment approval, I just reworded that. Take a look to see if that's acceptable on your behalf and if we can meet on the compromise with that. And shit, I mean, it could even be one versus the other. I mean, if you want to do it, whatever, it's you tell me.
There are, like I said, there are certain things about this that I like. Section 6 in particular. I would remove Section 8 entirely. I would... I don't like... I don't like Section 5 because it slows the process down. In fact, the only thing I actually like out of this is transparency. That's it. I would love for there to be a public way for me to document all of my changes and my mentality for them.
Wasn't
We
number
asked the
5
state for that, didn't we?
what
For a log system.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't number 5 what you just said that you liked with it? Because I was talking with the Andy stuff. And that's exactly what that describes.
No, 6.
No, that's the ability to actually see what's publicly available. The roles and responsibilities is that you were trying to get Edo to be empowered to actually go through, be the point of contact for funding requests, and make those and kind of be the final determinants with it. Which
yeah,
about 20 minutes ago, that's what you
I like
said that you like that.
I like Section 4. I think that this is also unnecessarily bogged down because it includes requiring my signature for stuff like that. I think that the treasurer should be able to review stuff like that and to completely just be able to do that themselves. I don't even I like so long as you're reporting on what you're doing so that we all know where the money's going. That's it.
So if I strike out on 5 the mayor's side to that, and then strike out on number 4 also both the mayor and the mayor's side to that, those 2 things, if I remove those, that's less that you have to do, and that then complies with what you're requesting.
It's less about having less to do. It's more about empowering us on a middle management level to be able to actively and quickly respond to people and to be able to do that. Like I said, at the snap of a finger, at the drop of a hat. I want people to be able to call you, TJ, and be like, hey, here's my idea. Can we meet? Boom. 1 hour later, you decide whether or not that's a good idea. You don't have to wait a week for the council meeting, and then you just give them the money and make a little report on it, and then we all know. Like, that's what I'm about. I like the quick response time.
And that's why I just removed from your side to it.
Right.
Wait, hold on. I got a
That's my
question.
philosophy.
What if we could? And I agree with you, Max. I think your perspective on sort of these middle managers and their little fiefdoms being able to make quick decisions that are strategic makes for a more like dynamic executive board type operation. I certainly would always, and I always have, reserved the right to do things with the DOJ, so I can see your perspective on that. What if the treasurer had a big red button?
To do what?
What you mean? To do what?
What's the context behind that?
To like set everything to a null status.
I still don't know what you mean.
Oh,
Well, if the
okay.
economy's in free fall, what if you had a red button?
I mean, that's like the ultimate veto right there. Red, gone.
I feel like that kind of works
for it to
against
get
the
to
first thing that you said, right? Like the rainy day fund.
I like the rainy day fund.
Yeah, that's the 30 million that we discussed. Yeah,
and I will say out loud, I did send the economy into fall. I did, and I also demonstrated that it was very easy to get it out of that fall too.
For sure, right? Because we, there's room to do that now because we don't have encumbrances, right? That's not to say we won't.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think the issue stems from, it's like I was saying
Scotty,
earlier,
ribbon things for something?
if things are trending in one direction, it's the trends. They're you got to look at
Noise
whole
being
picture,
weird with
right?
Fs.
A trend, sure, you might have a trend of like a week that's bad, but how's that trend looking over the course of like a month, 2 months?
well, he just said
And
that he
sometimes
literally
you kind of have to
just did
let it
Corwin.
play out. That's my
I get what you're saying, but he literally just said that he did that.
No, I know, but that's no. What I'm saying is, to his
What's to
point,
prevent him from doing it again?
sure, but I mean,
I'm going to
that-
do it again. Let's
it's
be clear
going
about
to happen
that.
again. Yeah, like
There you
he
go.
even prefaced it because he said it's going to happen because of how he's planning on playing things out over the course of the next 3 months. So if
That's my fiscal
all
policy.
of a sudden, yeah, if you have that free fall hit again and then you come in big red button, but you're not letting the plan play out, then it might make things worse because you're coming and putting a stop to it before the plan's in place, or it's done being put in place, I should say.
Test.
Right?
So let me just back up real quick because I'm trying to understand this, and I'm trying to just kind of wrap my head around it. A lot. There's been a lot of discussions, a lot of points back and forth. So Max, you're saying that you wouldn't mind if I just go ahead and, for most of this stuff, just approve it as is.
For events, yeah, specifically.
Correct. So that's the number. That's the section 4. I'm trying to go kind of bring us back into, on track here, kind of going down one by one with this, so that we're not just making overarching things. So that's section 4. Okay, so that's why I removed the language on the mayor's side, if that's what you're interested in.
I'm trying to adjust my noise.
Is that amenable?
I'm gonna be honest. I would want state funds in this instance to be amended to just be for ad hoc state fund requests rather than unilateral state funds.
Can you define that?
Like ad hoc requests, things like Andy Jones, like for your example, right? Things of that nature,
shutter?
or the
Am I still cutting
what
off?
we discussed earlier. I don't want to make Ursula have to
Fee
edit
FIFO,
more
Fee
footage,
FIFO,
but
Fee
things like that.
Fee FIFO, Fee FIFO,
Ad hoc requests.
Fee
Yeah,
FIFO.
those will still be fine.
Are you guys hearing Fee
And only
FIFO?
those.
I'm still not sure. I'm not following. Sorry.
I'm saying to amend the definition section in section 3 to
JP,
change the
thanks for
definition of
subbing.
state funds.
All money is
this
controlled by the
process.
government. We don't have an ad hoc fund or a different side fund on top of that. There is one pot. The other one that we were talking
I'm
about
aware,
is...
but we're just when we're discussing it, I'm concerned that the phrasing. I'm concerned about the phrasing and what it means in other places of this.
The city's government are intended for public use. So the money that people are paying into the government that is then being put to use for them. Salaries, compensation, funding requests. If I mean, I don't have to dumb this down even further, but we all pay taxes. This is a public system that should be used for the people. I'm not sure where you're going with that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna click on it. I'll come back to me.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not following right now, and that could just be me being everywhere with all the information we talked about. That's what I was trying to bring it back inside. Okay, so that's fine. Section 5. I deleted your side to that because you don't want that, right?
Repeat that.
Section 5. I deleted your portion of that. To review funding requests, provide secondary approval to uphold. You're basically just saying, listen, TJ, trust you. Funding request came in. You don't need to do a secondary approval. I trust Treasurer. Do it. Go.
Yep.
Okay. So that's why that is outlined or stricken out there. Okay. So I'm going through each one. Section 6. You said that you liked. Section.
Why don't we do this? Let's make section 6 and 4 their own like report /X, I guess. That would be good. Those are two very good legislations, in my opinion.
Okay. The other ones are just defining things. So, I mean, it goes basically up until 1 through 6 at that point. And then 7 is just a very much, just says we have to vote on this act.
And in number 8, I would backspace entirely.
So you want all and full control of salary to just send it into a spiral again?
Yeah. Yes. I will remind you that the state account is almost at its peak right now.
Yes, that is fine.
Courtesy of my actions.
I want to say something. Because I think this is very important. Even at a time where somebody embezzled hundreds of millions of dollars for a fictitious spaceship program, the state account was still better than it has ever been. So take that for what you will.
So what you're saying is it shouldn't still have happened, but the state account is still fine afterwards. So regardless, you're giving the it shouldn't happen, but it did happen, but we were still fine.
Well, it worked differently back then. Right now, there are a lot of people who depend on their salaries being doled out from the state account. So we right now, unless I'm mistaken, the state account is paying for more than it ever has, which presents the very real possibility that it could actually reach zero in the case of, say, let's say that somehow another mayor comes in and then wants to build a fucking spaceship and somehow gets $100 million for it. That the state account would not, it would get so hard fucked that situation that Crane just outlined could never happen. Fortunately, we don't have to worry about that because Crane and the lady who was interim mayor worked together and decided, hey, maybe there should be a check and balance on the mayor randomly spending $100 million. And it's you.
That's correct. Right. That's all I'm putting in there. It's all just legitimizing. I'm not trying to add unnecessary steps. That's it. If it comes to that point where it gets to, I want to build a fucking spaceship program. I don't even think that launched, by the way, did it?
No,
anyway,
it didn't.
Okay.
It got sabotaged when they filed a $200 million insurance claim. There was a one sheet of paper that literally just said insurance claim, and then it said an amount to be paid.
Okay.
That sounds like Lang Buddha, all right.
It sounds like some shit I would do.
Well, I mean, it was actually out there. It was out in Sandy. The entirety of the program was there. You could go look at it if you weren't around then. So silos did exist, and Miss Rocket did exist. All those things were there. So yeah, I'm not trying to work against you.
Not the rocket.
What I'm saying, I'm literally just trying to, as Crane put it, just because you could do it doesn't mean you should do it.
Well, I did it for a very specific purpose, and it was during a time and period where people were vying and struggling to purchase a car or a house or a trailer. And I deliberately crafted the system that was provided to me by the state to fatten as many people's pockets as I could that were working legally, that would be getting money from the state account. And the cost of that, of course, was that for a brief period of time, about a month and a half, the state account made no money. And once it was time to pull back, like I'd set a number for myself. I was like, I don't want to go below $40 million because I think that's too dangerous. Once it got close to that, I reverted the changes that I made, or rather two of the changes that I made, and all of a sudden the state account was in the green again, and we're good. So it was my intention always to make the state operate at a loss for the sake of the people of Los Santos on the street, and it worked. And I'm going to do it again.
So let's be fiscally responsible for it if it does occur, as you say, that it's not absolutely crippling.
It won't be.
It's smart.
Yeah, no, yeah, of course. No, I mean, look, my wife has a master's in finance. You're a smart guy. It really was as simple as me setting a lower limit and being like, it's too dangerous to go beyond this number. No matter what happens, if it gets too close to that, then changes have to be made. But everything's great right now. I think in the last 7 days, we almost made $20 million. $20 million in 7 days. That is fucking crazy. You know what the best part is? I haven't had to drop anyone's pay. I've raised people's pay, except for Group 6. I did lower Group 6 back down to default numbers.
And that's entirely fine. Just putting it for the future, Max.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, So, do you disagree with removing Section 8 entirely?
What portion of Section 8?
The
Like,
whole,
is
the
there a
whole thing.
specific line?
The whole thing.
So if you go line by line, which one are you not good with?
Let's see. Proposal along the justification of the adjustments, including financial forecast, shall then be forwarded to the council for discussion. Don't like that. Approval of salary adjustments must be obtained through a majority vote of the council. Don't like that. The treasurer and the mayor will work together for salary adjustment. Should the treasurer and or mayor not be available, proposed will go through the council for final vote. Don't like that. No salary adjustments shall be implemented without adherence to this process. Obviously don't like that. I do like the treasurer assessing salary adjustments, but at the same time, once again, I don't want to have to wait for you to do that. And I'm doing my own assessment. And I will say, there exists a realm of possibility where you are more qualified to make those assessments. Maybe you're more college educated than I am. Maybe you have more experience with finance, with economies, so on and so forth. Los Santos's economy is a very specialized thing. And I think more than anyone, actually in this whole room, and probably in this whole city, I am the most qualified person to assess and to make adjustments because I know what is possible and I know what can be done and I know what will happen. And once again, as I have proven. And I think it adds an extra layer of bureaucracy that I am not able to stomach.
All right. So let me propose this then to you real quick. As you just kind of mentioned it, instead of putting it as a limiter as to what you can or cannot do, then why don't we just empower and say, just as you can, I can as well, and that's it.
You want to be able to adjust it as well?
You don't have to go through checks. You don't have to go through balances. If you can do it, I can do it. There's no need to go back and forth and try to limit that.
If you want that kind of power, you could run for mayor, TJ. That's what I think.
Well, you gave me the other ones to go through funding requests, so it's not too much of a difference. I can go through $750,000, or I can go through what is done in a week, which is, 500, 600, 700. I'm not saying I do it, but it still gives that power, so we're not bickering back and forth about it.
Fair. I mean, if you're keen on keeping some of this, or we've almost been talking about this for an hour. I don't mind.
I know.
All
right.
So what we've done in the past for stuff like this is if it ever got to a point where it seemed like we had to super discuss something, typically we would table it until next week. So unless this is in a state that you think is votable right now, which I mean I think potentially it could be votable, we could just wait till next week with the revised tabled version or whatever.
I think it's actually complete now. We went through line by line and said what we don't like, so I don't foresee that changing whatsoever. I'm just removing the stricken things now, and I think we can vote on it.
Okay.
It's done. That's done.
Okay. Who shall start this vote? We'll let TJ start, and then we'll go left.
All right. All in favor? Starting my left. Cantor?
Yeah.
All right. Let me do the recording for it. Crane.
Hold on one sec. I'm gonna look at what I'm voting on.
All right.
So did anything change with Section 8?
We basically just said that the treasurer and mayor may assess and change salaries. That's it. Everything else was taken out. The limitations has to go through approvals, has to go through a council vote, has to be checked and balanced, etc. by everybody. It just gives dual power, and we don't have to fight on it. We just go with it. That's what changed.
So wait, so it's like whoever goes to bed last?
I mean, all technicality, sure.
Yeah.
Shit, Max should have been in favor of that then. Fucking guy never sleeps.
I haven't voted yet. Oh man, this feels good. I like
I'm
this.
voting on the whole thing. God damn.
I did suggest that it be broken up. Scooby Blue, thanks for subbing. Wigwam Amadeus.
I'm sold on everything but 8, but mostly because I don't think that I don't
know. What's that one? What's that one Studio Ghibli song where it goes? What song is that?
I'm gonna vote no if I have to vote on everything.
Howl's Moving Castle?
That's kind of the way I feel about this as like an omnibus type of bill.
It's not raining blood.
I have no idea what that just meant.
I mean, it's like when you put a bunch of stuff in one thing.
It's kind of an omnibus bill. Cornwood's next vote. Cornwood.
All right. So how about this? If I take out 8 right now, if we take out 8, shall we revote that? If we do that separately.
Well, let me see.
Let's just have the vote first, and then we can discuss amendments and propose them.
All right. That's fine.
Okay.
Cornwood, what's your vote?
I'm still kind of looking through it a little bit. I'm just going to be honest. I feel like, and I know. There's definitely parts of this that are good, right? I mean, there's definitely the whole cover your ass portion. Okay, there's the accountability, there's the transparency, right? But there's each one of those things are a different thing. So to Judge Braun's point, it is when you got an omnibus situation, I think it's just too much all at once. Even if you take part 8 out, this is too much for me all at once. I know y'all are leaning towards it, but I'm a no on this. I don't agree. There's too much at once.
Brief interjection. Removing 8 and titling this like additional duties and responsibilities of the treasurer, I think would be great. Although removing the transparency section and presenting it as its own thing, so that it could be. Wait, hold on. Now I'm tripping myself up. Yeah, ignore everything I just said. I'm a fucking idiot. Murphy.
Yes.
What's your vote?
Oh, it's my vote. Yeah, I think that this stands to percolate a bit more and be discussed a bit more, maybe for another week and be tabled.
Want me another 2-hour discussion with this? I'm happy to do it.
I mean, I think I can endure a 2-hour discussion if it's in the best interest of the public.
What about this is not in the best interest? Please let me know, because this is all about transparency. This is all about for the people. There's nothing in here that is not for people or transparency that is deterministically against anything in the best interest of this city. So if you're going to sit here and say it's not, then I'm very concerned real quick.
I'm going to defer to Crane and vote now and discuss amendments later. And as it is right now, without further discussion, it'd be a no for me.
Siobhan.
No.
Also, no.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so let's discuss what would change that.
Removal of Section 8 entirely. I don't think it is. I don't think it is in the best interest of the people of Los Santos if an unelected position like the treasurer has the ability to assess and change salaries.
Can I ask a question? We in the beginning had a number of discussions and meetings that I thought were very productive about the adjustment of salaries.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about cops, we talked about EMS, we talked about all these different things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now with the police, I can understand that the way that the PCP has manifested in your first term, right, when that was authorized, you know, it made sense that that superseded sort of what we had been doing because that was targeted at a very narrow and very specific task, right, of micromanaging one department.
The PCP didn't have anything to do with my quota system. That's something that I would have presented to them regardless after I was gifted the powers by the state to adjust their pay.
Okay, I guess okay. So let me ask that. What is the? I understand, for example, your concept about Angus and Mosley's, right? That makes sense to me. What is the emergent need for the ability to rapidly, without council discussion, change, let's say, lawyer pay?
What's the emergent need for the restriction of that power? This is a presentation that was designed to restrict that ability. What is the emergent need for this?
Well, hold on. We didn't restrict it, actually. We went line by line and got rid of restrictions for this. And actually,
when it was initially presented,
I'm not asking this in relation to solely his legislation. I'm saying that I understood and I understand the argument about why it doesn't make sense to have a check and balance on the mayoral powers in emergent situations. But I'm saying what kind of emergency or what kind of scenario would forego the potential for like mutual discussion?
Well, first of all, we only ever discussed at the Council of 8 because the mayor did not have the power to make an adjustment. It was our only method of having our voices heard was to meet in this room and then to make suggestions on pay changes to then be given to you, which would then be forwarded to the state, which there are some forwarded changes that haven't even happened. And I'm pretty confident. I don't know if it was Siobhan, what was the one actual pay that didn't actually go through and get changed? I think it was maybe DOC. There's
I remember it was us. We talked about
it. Oh yeah, it was us.
It was us.
Yeah.
$100
we
an hour.
talked about that. It was the doctor one was the one that didn't go through because the state said that they were worried about corruption at the time, and there were several people removed as a result of that investigation.
Doctors
I think
removed?
that's before what we're referring to. That was like one of the first few weeks.
Yeah,
I
that
think
was way
that's
back
before
then.
this, but
no, it was longer than that.
No, but our $200 an hour pay didn't go through when we did that.
Okay, what is city council currently?
900, I think.
900.
Yeah, 900.
That was what was said.
Okay, and what is it supposed to be?
It's supposed to be 1100, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's why with what power and actionable things I can do, it's good for me to do because at the end of the day, there are people that will just drop the ball on the state level, and that's effectively what. When we were making these suggestions and changes, that was the only way that we could do it. Now I can do it. Now I have been doing it to great success.
That speeds up the decision or the process, whether the decision is made by you or us, right? Now it no longer has to be forwarded to the state. We can just have a quick chat and you walk off and do it, like has been done a couple times, including last week with the EMS pay. It still increases the speed on it. I fail to see how it makes a discussion unnecessary.
Unnecessary?
Yes, you're arguing that there shouldn't be a discussion. You should just be able to do it.
And I am arguing that because I have done an excellent job. I have done an amazing job.
There are many people that would disagree with that. The
Well,
amount of people we have coming in
look,
complaining to us about what you've done with, I know, TOW, PD, whatever, since they heard about our pay decreased.
Yeah.
That's not even just EMS and doctors. I promise there are plenty of people who would disagree with that.
Well, they should have voted differently.
I think they did, which is why you have less votes than last time and have a deputy mayor that disagrees with you. Because people tried to get you out.
They failed. Why did they fail, you think?
I don't know. There's enough people that you paid off, probably.
So you're accusing me of paying people off to get elected?
Oh, no. What I'm accusing you of is what you were directly stating that you were doing, is creating this big bubble where everyone gets paid this perfect amount to make them all really happy so that they re-voted for you.
Well, see, that's the thing. I didn't know I was actually running for re-election until about like 2 weeks beforehand, and most
However,
of my
your
fiscal
wife
policies.
Did.
Yeah,
Did
my
she not?
my wife was gonna
heard she
run.
talked
Yeah, yeah, totally.
So would it not make her look good if you use your powers to do so?
Yeah, I suppose it would, but she didn't run. I ran.
So it still benefited you.
The Golden Age had nothing to do with anybody running for election and everything to do with performing the role, and it was changes were made as soon as Max had the ability to do so. He would have done it sooner if he had the ability to do it sooner. So the timing just happened to line up.
The question asked was that you have done an amazing job, and what I bring up is that many people disagree and are unhappy, including doctors who have come to me who stated that they voted for you and now regret it.
Unfortunate. They should talk to their liaison and get their pay fixed.
We do not intend to give in to your demands.
You don't want to make it so that you guys are held to a higher standard and thus can be paid more by the state by way of not hiring felons, and that you don't want to have to go through every 21 days?
It is not my decision, Max. I'm not a board member. I know.
You're married to one.
Back and forth on this. No, he is not. He's an attending like me.
Okay. All right. Well, your pay will remain at that. And in fact, until Happy speaks with me, it will also remain where it is. I don't think he's a good leader. I heard again recently that someone had to wait a month and a half for an interview to get hired at EMS.
Okay. If we're moving on to that, I have had a discussion with him about it. The issues occurred with the fact that their P&T department numerous times at this point has left once they were placed in the position. So they are currently, as high command, doing the entirety of hiring and firing. I've offered some solutions that will help speed it up, as well as offered to assist with putting people into those positions. I've had extensive talks with him. Do I think they are in the best state? No. However, that was not intentional from Happy's point. He is just trying to work off of the fact that people have left. So they are doing what they can in the meantime.
Did you bring to the board members my 2 demands?
I spoke with Janetti.
What did he say?
He was just uninterested in it.
Okay. You didn't speak to anyone else on the board? What about Pixie Tarantino?
To be very frank, Pixie is not incredibly interested with having these kind of discussions with me. When I try, she does not want to be involved.
And who is the last member of the board?
Derek Shaw. I struggle to get a response from him on a good day. That's about that.
Well, it sounds like the hospital's in trouble then, if you're not able to meet a simple board meeting in order to discuss having all of the dozens and dozens of doctors that voted for you have a fair and livable wage.
If you have an issue with the fact I can't speak with Derek Shaw, take it up with him himself. We do a great job of running the day-to-day, and our doctors know that. And I do everything I can to make sure that they are happy and well taken care of. And I've had many discussions with them regarding the pay. And they were all in agreement that we will weather this if we have to, that it is not worth giving in to the demands of a terrorist.
Former terrorist.
Sure.
2-time mayor. And also the purpose of your role is to represent the will of the average doctor. So you're saying that the average doctor in the hospital is okay with making $500 per hour because they think that making it so that felons cannot work at that hospital, and that inactive doctors should be fired after 21 days. Those are the two. You told them that, and they are okay with weathering the storm.
21 days number is something I've only just heard. You didn't bring that up before.
I
You
did.
seem to have no
I said
issue,
I
and
said I said
explained it
3
last
weeks.
time.
I said 3 weeks. 21 days.
All
7,
right.
14, 21.
To be clear, no, they really don't have an issue. I've brought it up with many people, including at our meetings. And yeah, I believe there was, if anyone was around that day, Twitter was being spammed with W Cantor or something. Because I said, look, I have you guys' back to a fault.
Yeah.
But also,
You're a hero.
I will do what is best for the hospital as a whole, more so than any individual.
Okay, well,
I've worked every single day since then, and will continue to do so at whatever pay rate we are at.
I'm proud of you. I think what I'm learning now is that your leadership is unwilling to negotiate. What about, would you guys be able to do 400 an hour?
For what?
For your pay.
What's your request here?
For the same request.
Same request? We're not interested in meeting the demands.
300 an hour.
You offering to lower our pay to meet the demands? I mean, no. If we weren't interested before, we still aren't.
Okay, well, back down to 250 it is. At least until you guys are willing to negotiate.
Perfect.
Can I just
no,
kinda
I
put
will
that out
not
there?
negotiate
Isn't
with
that like
terrorists. I'm
kind
good.
of? I mean, I'm just looking at the thing there. Isn't that almost like basically kind of extortion? You're trying to compel another person.
Oh,
to
he already did
relinquish
that. He
money
blatantly
or
told me I
compel
had
a
to admit to a
public
felony.
officer or state employee to perform an official act within the course or scope of their employment.
But see, Max has
Isn't
put
that
himself
kind
at
of
the
like
head
that?
of the PD so that everyone's too scared to prosecute him for anything.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
pretty
definitely not
crazy.
because you
Well,
guys don't
actually,
have any fucking
Just be
proof.
very loud about it.
Look, you can be very loud. You can toot your own horn about W Cantor, but at the end of the day, we are playing by new rules. The mayors of the now and mayors of the future will have the power to do this to you until you do something about it. And if you are willing to sit in your hospital, if you are willing to sit in your hospital and pat your guys'
focusing on the people.
Okay,
not you.
very good. Listen here, okay? That hospital functions without doctors. It does. The only necessary branch of that
medical argument you're going to make.
I'm telling you right now that I don't give a shit about that. Okay, the only part of that hospital that needs to be there are people doing EMS, and that department is fucked up. Okay, so if you think you are making a statement by sitting in your hospital and saying, "Guys, Max is an evil man. He's extorting us. He's a terrible guy, and he hates doctors."
I think people have the right to know. You're all about transparency now, right?
Yeah, and I'm going to be entirely transparent. I think you are a sham. I think the head of the board, of your medical board, when they come around, they are frauds. I think that all of you are so lazy that you have allowed a clique and environment to form inside of that hospital that is so unhealthy that people are not allowed to progress in any meaningful manner. I think that the EMS are similarly afflicted, and shut the fuck up. Listen to me. Okay, I had countless people come up to me about what it is like to work in your hospital.
And I have had numerous of those people come to me, admit that they did that, and tell me that they were wrong.
Yeah, I wonder why they would tell their boss that they.
For anything.
Listen,
I voted yes to your silly little whistleblower thing because we do not intend to punish anyone for attempting to better their situation.
Little whistleblower.
We have their back.
It
was very clearly an attempt to protect the people who have spoke to them about the hospital, and I have no issue with that.
Yeah. You think you think that the Whistleblowing Protection Act was because two people came to me and told me that your work environment sucks so much cock that they were afraid to present themselves as potential runners. You think that's why that was
like
written?
I said, I spoke to the individual who was talking to you today, actually. There is no issue. We're on good terms.
Good.
We talked it through. She apologized for the situation, and then we're good.
Good.
You know, you can keep creating issues that don't exist, but no, I have my doctor's back no matter what they want to do.
See, that's
Let me reel this
that's my
back in
problem.
for y'all,
I think
if you
that the
could,
city would
please.
be better well served by a cast of doctors and a head of board or whatever that were not any of you. That's the bottom
To
line.
be frank, Max, your only issue has been a couple interns who at the time were mad they didn't get promoted, and me. You have no actual idea on how the hospital runs or what our real issues are. You, for some reason, think that it's okay about the doctors treating people outside of the hospital or giving out medical equipment, and you think the issue is me somehow. The person who worked 140 hours last month to make sure that I was there every second to make sure that all of their voices were heard. The person that has constant meetings with every single level of the chain of command. The person that has pushed for the most progress. The newest member of the hospital command that has taken the hospital from a sad, overly serious place where everyone felt too scared to do whatever they had to treat people, to something where everyone has the right to try their best. And I will hire anyone to give them a chance. I've hired someone with a missing arm. I've hired blind people. I've literally turned this place around. You would actually love it. In fact, you sat in on that one interview we did.
Yeah, it was
Y'all
great.
loved it.
It was great.
I think that you would love the hospital if you sat aside for a second, ignored your hatred of me for 2 fucking minutes, just to realize that the hospital is in the best place it has ever been.
Okay. I will admit that culturally that might be the case for you. I don't think it's the case for everyone. And if your argument is that you are an essential service in Los Santos that deserves to be respected, deserves to be paid more than senior buns workers, why the fuck are you hiring blind doctors? Why the fuck are you hiring felons? Why are you hiring doctors with no arms?
People who can do a good job, we're not going to discriminate against them.
Okay. We can
go
Sorry,
back on topic here. I think we really just, this we're sidetracked.
I mean,
a
if
lot
he
here.
wants to have these conversations, if he has an issue with my leadership, I'll talk about it.
I think it
I
sucks.
don't think we're sidetracked.
Okay, why?
But
I just
will
told
say
you why.
this. Go ahead,
What?
bud.
Because people are scared to come on duty. Those people that have talked to me and said that that isn't correct. That maybe they just at the time were maybe they didn't get promoted or something.
Yeah, no, that's not why.
Numerous people.
It's
Okay, then
look,
why?
Because if I have a heart attack, I got to worry about the armless Tandy Miller doing my heart surgery. That's why.
So now you're mad that we haven't gatekept employment.
No,
when,
it's not. It's not about. It's not about
you're
gatekeeping.
mad that we were.
No, your whole point and argument is that the hospital is so essential and so necessary and must be here, and that you are doing the best job and that everything is great. But at the same time,
Yes, it is.
you think that you deserve to be paid more than $250 when you're unable
Max,
to.
I do not give a fuck about the pay. I
Okay.
could have bowed my fucking head and been real careful and just begged you for a pay raise, and I'm sure I could have got it. I do not give a fuck about that right now. I care about defending the fact that we are doing our fucking best, and there are amazing people in that hospital who are trying every fucking day for this city, and I will not have you shit on that.
I think they're doing great. They're doing a great job. And I bet they'll be able
They
to do it.
do not feel that you think that.
No,
to be
I
fair.
know. Seriously, I do. And I think that they'll keep doing it for $250 an hour.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. They likely will. In fact, I'm sure they'll love to hear about this.
Good. That'll free up some money for other aspects of development.
Go for it.
Well, hold on,
I hope your wife has fun running next term and getting not a single vote from any essential employee.
Okay, I just have to step in. All right, because at the point in which the EMS isn't being taken care of, that affects my job as a police officer. So we already have an issue of like not having enough EMS on duty, and I don't know if the pay really fixes that. Right, there needs to be something else that's done. But we had a scene yesterday at the Orchardville area, white construction building, and we had like 8, 9 people down. So something needs to be done. We had one EMS there. I got Karen Lang Buddha screaming in my ear, I need to go. I need to go. Somebody help me up. You know, it's like, holy shit. Okay. We're trying to do scene control. We got a bunch of people just kind of showing up, 78's call essentially. It's a disaster because we only have one EMS. I roll up my damn sleeves. I'm trained. So I start helping people out. Right. And that shouldn't have to happen. We should have people there and train. We just have to find a way to support people. And bickering and bitching and moaning and all this kind of shit, it ain't going to help fix that. Because now my job's being affected, even though I'm not a part of this shit. And it pisses me the hell off. Okay? I'm sorry. No, I don't mean to raise my voice.
You're fine.
But we gotta find a way to fix this shit. All right? And we're at each other's throats all the time. It ain't going to work. So we got to find a way to support our hospital workers. We got to find a way to support our EMS. And there's got to be some middle ground that's found. The whole thing falls apart. We'll figure some shit out. We will.
Pay is just not a great motivator for activity or competent command, unfortunately.
No, I don't disagree. Like we talked about last meeting, it's more morale. And some people are very demoralized by the fact that the mayor does not value what they do. I will be there either way. I know many people that will. But if you want to make the statement that they are not worth the tiny amount, the drop in the bucket that it is for the state budget, then you go ahead and do that.
Okay, so let's not worry about the pay. Don't worry about the pay for a minute, because obviously it don't work. Okay, they got their pay tripled last week, and we still only had one EMS there. So what else is there that we can do to help out the EMS that is not related to pay, without touching the pay?
You're deport everyone with bad personalities.
Okay.
And the EMS will be happier to be at work because they'll talk to people who actually want to be there.
Does that work for cops too?
That's a bold response. I mean, I guess it might make things better for them.
Bold problems require bold solutions.
I don't necessarily disagree.
Dude, I want to put my Glock on the table. I want to put my gun on the table.
Is there anything we can do to make the EMS have more fun?
Mm-hmm.
So
have more
I'll be
fun?
honest, last time I did volunteer EMS, I just went around rubbing dirt and everything. That was pretty fun.
That sounds great.
Even if the person just been shot in the head, I just rubbed dirt in the wound and said, "Suck it up, pussy," and then got to their feet.
That would probably work better than half the shit that we give people. I don't know what the hell is in my fat.
I don't disagree.
Put dirt in
as long as
wounds.
it's sanitary,
like
you'd be surprised. Yeah, it's a real thing. Absolutely, it is. For the EMS, obviously, they've had requests. A lot of it's financial. I think they are in an unfortunate position where there's not that much that helps other than financial, because when their pay is lowered, they essentially have to work other jobs just to afford to be on duty. I can say from the doctor's side, it's the culture that encourages people to be around more than anything. It really is that morale thing. For EMS, I don't hear complaints. They seem to be happy as a group. Maybe I think these fundraising events will help to increase morale as well. But they've been planning those for a long time. Not Max motivated on that. But hey, now they have to instead of just want to. So fuck it. They just want to be able to afford to, I guess. I know my doctors are happy anyway, and I'll keep doing my best for that. But EMS, I think they're just in a rough spot.
Okay, what if we gave EMS guns?
I
know
love
you sound
guns.
like that
I don't
crazy
know if
guy.
They love guns. I do. I'm on board for that. We did suggest
They
that.
deputize themselves too much.
Can EMS carry? Are they allowed to carry a civilian firearm on duty?
I don't believe so.
What if y'all change that rule? So at least they don't feel like they're sitting ducks. So they can carry their civilian firearm and they can stand their ground.
Wait, who's targeting the EMS?
They've been robbed quite a bit.
They do get
Yeah.
robbed. Yeah, for medical equipment, absolutely.
All the time.
I don't think they're targeted as targets to harm, but to rob, absolutely.
Because they want their IFACs and shit.
Yes.
So why don't we just make a law about making it illegal to have like IFACs or whatever?
We already have
It
that.
is. Yeah.
Oh,
It
okay,
is,
cool.
yeah.
Problem solved.
Well, I mean, somebody's got to enforce
I
it.
see what Green did there.
Yeah.
The law's not going to fix shit. Yeah, I get it.
I mean, yeah, that's why that's not a request of mine, right? I think the law covers their biggest concerns. I mean, it's unfortunate, but a lot of what they specifically are looking for is just the ability to do their job. And the finances have kind of fucked that. I know for us, it's just the culture that keeps people on duty, but they're in a rougher spot. They can't really have a
mean,
culture. They
shit.
can't afford to be on duty.
I think. Look, you got 750 right now. Let it ride out. We all know money.
Yeah.
Money ain't a huge motivator.
I thought we said it was 250.
For
No,
doctors.
those doctors. EMS is going to go up to 1,000 after this meeting.
Sure.
I'm
Oh,
just gonna
shit,
say this
okay.
every time that we have these meetings and every time we discuss this.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great feel good, and everyone gets pats on the back, and people will temporarily be happy. Pay adjustments have never solved anything in the long term. They will
True.
not continue to do so.
Right.
And I rest my
True.
case.
Right.
I mean, you
I
said,
said this the first week of our
Yep,
first term.
you did.
Mhm.
I will say, it has helped out my wife a lot. We were able to afford a new house because of the adjusted pays or whatever. But you did say that, and I didn't believe you. And then I raised EMS pay to 1.3K, and then there weren't any EMS on duty, and I wondered
literally
why.
doesn't matter.
I don't disagree. For me, it is the statement you're making, of which I'm trying to bring up, because people do not believe you care about them, and neither do I.
I think the hospital could do better. I think that they should be held to a higher standard, and I would love you to meet that demand so that I can justify raising your pay accordingly.
Sure, understood. I'm glad to hear that my discussion with Happy helped to convince you that they deserve something. And if you would like to discuss that anymore, I'd be happy to do so.
Okay.
I'm telling you, you let them sons of bitches carry, that's a morale increase.
I don't disagree. I love my gun.
Yeah. At least you feel safe. You feel like you can take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess that's not a city council thing, but fix the morale problem.
Okay, are we done with that one?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got that out. We're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we take a break? Can we take a break?
Yeah.
Take a
Yeah,
Sure.
fiver?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cigarette.
Oh,
I feel like everybody could use a type 5, and we just haven't like gotten a chance to call for it.
yeah.
Yeah, give me a second.
I need food.
I got a burger. Candy bars.
Yo, let me get that burger, dog.
Here, I got some
Deep
candy
in
bars. too.
thought.
There you go.
This burger is almost
I will
rotted.
also be needy for ball.
Oh, it's a good meat. Trust me.
As I have the time, as soon as I have the time, I would love to have a meeting with you fucking Dans. That sounds like a great time.
Who are you talking to?
Gringle. Great, see you
Ugh.
soon. Bye.
Can't go lower than 250. I'll be right back. 1 sec. One sec. What's good, bruh? What am I eating? Nothing. For once. Julia Gulia, thanks for subbing. Stavant and Toiny and Squeaky Pen and Prometheus and Rodeau. I think I saw you at the shops yesterday. I am sure it was you because you were on an e-scooter since you cannot drive. Fuck you, man. Zero No Go, thanks for subbing. And Pike Solo, thanks for subbing. Not true, not true.
Mm-hmm.
Can you show your toes real quick? I just need one screenshot.
Just a small side note. Andy was saying probably 400K for Legends locals, 150 for 2 for follow up. Just as an FYI. So that's 700.
I
Cool.
Does anybody have any more food?
I do not. I have water. You want water?
No, I don't need any water. I just need food.
Yep. Fresh out.
Here's some fries.
I also have some fries.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Okay, hey, whenever you get your
Actually, I
damn
got an extra
cabinet,
burger. Hold on.
Siobhan, we need your chief of like food and make them come in and bring us food for this meeting.
True.
I
Mm.
bought like 20
True.
meals
Hold on,
prior to
hold
the
on.
meeut, so if anybody else needs food, let me know.
Yeah, I think if you
Oh,
just put it
damn,
on the
okay,
ground, it'll
thank
be
you.
Just put
fine.
it here,
I think
fuck
I'd
it.
have to get up.
Yeah, over
Yeah,
here
I'll
would
put
be
it
great.
there.
Yeah, the camera
Yeah,
person
fire
could
plate.
use it. Yeah.
How you doing, Ursula?
Great. How are you doing, Max?
I'm a little hungry, but I'm okay.
Well, apparently Alex has food for you. Thank you.
I just showed her the banana bread. You know what I'm talking about?
It's crazy
banana
how
bread at work.
unsatisfying the
Actually, I have
food
more
has
food, hold
gotten
on.
in this city, let me tell you.
Just wait till Cornwood Family Farms comes in. We'll have the best quality food the city's ever seen.
Yeah, after
Oh,
you
hell
after you
yeah.
after you steal
Oh.
250 liters from my fucking tap, you motherfucker.
Yeah, Cornwood.
Thanks.
What? It's water. You can get it
I
anywhere.
should be good.
I gotta pay
That's
for
good.
it.
That's gonna be out of our water bill.
Oh my lord! After everything I've done for you.
Nah, you're right. We'll pay for it. You're right.
I forgot about the thing with Vingo. You right.
As he emerged from the smog in the Bolingbrook
Looks so
courtyard.
cool. Like a fucking looks like a real cowboy.
Yeah, I hope he shows up here. I'm just gonna shoot him right away.
Yeah, I mean, he already initiated.
He did.
Anybody else need food, Murphy?
Yeah, where'd you get all
I'm
this
good now.
food?
Food court. There was
Okay
3
for
stands that were
now.
open.
Nice. Oh, that's awesome.
I think I'll survive the rest of the meeting.
Le Kremlin and Necromimi. Thanks for so bad.
Actually, Alex, can I get some?
Yeah, I got you. Give me a second.
Okay.
I got
take
some
your
I could
time.
share.
Thanks, Bib.
But I ain't, because I'm gonna let her do it.
Well, that's fine. You need you have to eat for your strength.
Yeah, I'm a young and ripe 54, man.
55. We did the math last night.
I'm a young, spry 54-year-old.
I swear to God.
Ryan.
We good to continue? Is Alan here?
Nice.
I
Smoking
am.
a cigarette.
Yeah, as long as Crane is.
smoking inside, so fucking based.
Mm-hmm.
I can agree to that.
You bent the
There ought to
windows
be a
in here.
law.
Strengthens your lungs.
Holy shit! I can't wait to see somebody try and like rob an EMS, and Tim just pulls out a Colt and shoots him in the head.
Tim already probably has it. Well,
Comfy
actually, no,
robotics
he's
or
broke because he doesn't gives all his money away. He can't afford a gun, probably. But I'm sure he would.
Tim
Anybody
would be
else
a
need
damn
food?
good
I love
police
Tim.
officer.
Tim would be a
I
goddamn
could
good
use
everything.
a little bit if you could
Yeah,
I've
out.
been trying to
would.
poach him for
All
so
right,
long.
second.
He just won't.
No worries. It's not.
Join us.
I can't wait to take the first.
Cube
EMS.
World 2
He's
is
the
out.
best.
Let's go.
Oh, it'll happen. Yeah.
Let's fucking go. Literally the owner of Twitch. Thanks for resubbing, dude.
Speak
Seal
up, Kane,
Kane,
by
there's
the
a
way.
resub. Lindor
Thank
Truffles,
you,
there's a
guys. So I just want to finalize that, clear that out. If I just delete 8, just amend it, revote it, and that would be my final thing for the day. We good?
Sorry, which one? Where?
8.
So, for a long time, we've operated on the assumption that we don't give money to various departments.
And the police aren't allowed to be supported by anybody other than themselves.
And I'm afraid that
joke.
Section 4 is kind of establishing that we would be able to do that.
Sort of like asking me to give Suarez 35 grand.
35.
That was for his max pay thing.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna pay that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pay that out of pocket.
Oh, you're gonna pay that out of pocket? Okay, well, never mind.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Wait, what? Suarez gets 35 grand.
So it was asked of me to pay Suarez out of the state account for the quota. I reviewed the quota, talked to some members of command, and they had expressly said that that is not how it works. And so I did some due diligence behind it to understand what that process is. The reason why I even held off on that is because if I start paying people quota sides to it as part of the state account, that opens the door for anyone that had at any point in time gotten quota and say, why not me too? Where's my handout? So that's why I was gonna nix that side to it.
That's why I wanted to do it myself, because I didn't want to set precedents. And the reason this was brought up is because during one of the Shift 3 meetings, I said I would do it because he contributed a lot to, I think it was 2 different quota weeks. He was top 3 or some shit. And he wasn't available to be around to reap the benefit of that. And I said that I would see about getting him paid. So yeah, it's coming out of my pocket, which I'm totally fine with. I think he deserves it.
Oh, I misunderstood that.
Yeah, it was what he was calling me every day for.
That's fair. I mean, he probably has some, probably needs some financial stability now that he's been fired for doing his job.
I mean, he's got a gauntlet, nice one. He was saying that he was trying to use the funds to buy a new one, so I don't know what he needs.
Wait, hold on. He's gonna buy 2 gauntlets?
I just want another car, is what he said.
You know, I was looking at the Carfax for the gauntlet versus all the police vehicles. The Carfax rating is 150 points higher than any police vehicle we have. It's kind of wild. We're seeing gauntlets all over the city now. Kind of crazy how that works.
So I don't know why it says that. I would definitely rate some of the cop cars above the gauntlet, in my opinion.
I mean,
Drive a lot of cop cars there, Mac.
What?
I said you drive a lot of cop cars there.
I have driven a lot of cop cars.
Maybe years ago. But...
No. No.
That sounds fun. I'd do that too if I could.
I'm not gonna ask more.
Well, I didn't
Hey,
steal
my
them.
You steal my turbos?
No.
I had to drive one the other day because an officer, they got hurt and they needed me to drive it down a mountain for them.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I've driven a CVPI, a Taurus, Scout, V-Star, not the Caracara. And I've driven a Gauntlet.
Yeah, all I know is this. There's a black Gauntlet. R.O. Alex Suarez.
The car
shows up
Did it sound like I said car
every
or
single time.
Caracara?
Oh, so
Hey,
he's
look,
doing
guys,
a what was that guy's name?
Jamal?
No. Who was the guy who had the motorcycle with 28 strike points and then he sold it and got a new one and then joined the SDSO? Murphy, help me out.
Oh my, that's so specific. I wish I knew who this
Oh,
was.
man.
Yeah, please remember.
Fuck.
It's like it's some guy is like oh,
Wait, was it
fuck, what-
Salim?
Yeah,
Oh my
Salim,
God.
there you
It
go.
was
Salim.
fucking Salim. Okay,
Yeah, he's
actually.
probably
Salim
doing a
Windor?
Salim. No,
No,
different
no,
Salim.
a different
Different, yeah.
Salim.
Yeah.
He's probably doing a Salim. That's why he wants the
Yeah.
money to get a new Gauntlet because
Yeah.
you guys are tracking that plate, so he wants to buy a new car because you can't change your plates anymore.
Oh.
I'm telling you, I know that plate by heart. It's
Yeah, no
U3377883.
shit. That's why he wants a new one. Come on.
Black plate, yellow text, red lights.
Holy shit, impressive.
Yeah, that's a Salim right there.
We don't know if it's him, but that car shows up everywhere.
Is it in crime shit or not?
All I know is I saw it, and then I got mag dumped 2 days ago.
Oh, okay. All right. So yeah, I just took out 8, and then I think that's everything that we went line by line for you from before. That should be all right.
So what is the concern with 4? It authorizes them to disperse money that they're not authorized to.
This was the portion that you said that you actually liked, and that you were just gonna say, hey, if someone wants to come up with an idea, you trust that the treasurer is able to enact on that idea. That is the section that you requested that you liked out of them all.
Talking to Max.
Yes.
I went ahead and wrote something in section 4.
The purpose of funding events, right?
Yeah, just
Yeah,
So
I
it's
think
not
that's
like
fair 'cause
going to.
I don't want
That's
a
fair.
treasurer to be misunderstanding and think that they're able to,
No,
like,
no,
you know,
no.
say give 300 grand to the PD or something.
No, that's
So-
not the intent.
Hmm.
That is for the city to be put back into the city. Should events like, for example, Pride that was just
Yeah.
presented in front of Siobhan and I,
Mhm.
as well as Andy's
that's fair.
things. So yeah, no, that's entirely perfectly fine.
where's the default
I'm
color?
not trying to be like, oh hey, yeah, I'm just gonna go give PD a fuck ton of money so that they can.
Yeah.
Well, that brings me up to a point. We we have.
Okay, are we gonna vote on
we'll
this
wait,
first?
Let's wait.
Yeah, let's put this to bed because I think we've been on this for 3 hours. So I've removed 8. Max added for the purpose of funding events, and at that point, I'm pretty set and okay. I'm good as long as other people are good. If with the amendments, if we want to vote on those.
Just for clarity, TJ, that
Yeah.
right there, that's what I meant by ad hoc earlier.
Okay, gotcha.
For
Thank you. I
events.
appreciate
Yeah,
that.
no
Yeah,
problem.
I didn't. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I still feel like this needs to be split into like 3 parts. Like you got the transparency, you got the CYA, you got the, you know what I mean? Like I just feel like this needs more time.
So technically, so 1, 2, and 3 are all like kind of standard, this first off definition type shit, right? So establish what it is. So the only thing you're really looking at here, Cornwood, is 4, 5, and 6, because enforcement amendment is basically just saying that what that is it has to be approved by us. 8 is taken out, and 9 is just means that's effectively now. So the only things you got to look at 4, 5, 6, which we have gone through extensively. So delete everything else from your mind and just look at those.
We got to delete that shit.
I saw
from
that
the
one
damn
earlier. I just
paper,
didn't want to
too.
edit it.
No, that's background is definition shit. It's a cover your ass again in case it comes up in like legal terms.
Do we want to amend anything or vote?
Well, I see some people still. Are you done editing, Max?
Yeah, I just threw in for the purpose of funding events in section 5.
Yep. That's perfectly fine. Yep.
We might want to rename this to like Event Funding Approval and Financial Transparency Act or some shit.
I just put fund requests and transparency.
What I think Cornwood's right. We can keep going around the table. If you want to split this up into just section 6 being its own thing, and then clearly
I can do that.
clearly defining the process that you will be doing for approving events and stuff, I think is probably the best way to go for this.
That's fun. So I can take 6. I can put it into a different one.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
We can anyone hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
Yep.
We can keep going around the table while you do that, and then we can go back to you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Wait, we're not going to vote on. Okay.
Well, I'm just making a small adjustment to it.
It needs to be split up into like 3 separate legislations.
Just two.
2.
Yeah.
Yeah, two should be fine.
Okay, I'll take a look. Whatever.
I'm just gonna name it Funds and Transparency Act. Is that fine?
Yeah.
All right. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna change it to like section 3. I'm gonna copy and paste like the first parts of those definitions, if it needs to apply to it or not, and then I'm just gonna put it in there. All right. Give me a second.
Sounds good. Cantor, you got anything?
No, not today. I'm good on that. I was cooking on the your very kind offer to come up with my own staff, but then I realized that Ledson doesn't need a free job handed to him like Michael does. So I'm all right.
Crane already presented stuff. Cornwood, you got anything?
Boy, do I. Okay. We got a few things today. I'm going to try and keep it brief since everybody comes to me bitching and moaning about everything.
Okay.
But I'm going to try and keep it brief. We already followed up on the shit from last week. Got that done. One thing that keeps coming up from PD command, is about the times and fines and an ETA on the rebalancing of the times and fines, a lot of the charges that are in place.
So that I already talked to Slacks about that today. To my understanding, there is some data being looked into by the technicians on why the MTD is displaying certain things and why it fluctuates at certain times. But I also noted to them that based on my reading of the latest log, Max has equalized them, correct?
Nope. So
maybe change it back.
Yeah, what happened was the technician. So basically, during last meeting, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna set back to normal, so there's no more confusion, and then we can wait to see if it will be fixed in the future. Technician asked Cornwood to ask me to set it back so that they can target the bug and figure out why it's doing.
Okay,
that.
cool.
So it is
okay. So I have informed Slacks either way that it is being looked into. So I told him for now you should just be using whatever the MDT says.
Okay, so pending the adjustments from the IT guy. Then,
just use
then
what
at
the
that point
MDT
it'll get
says.
rebalanced.
Just go with what the MDT says.
Squeaky chair, dude.
The bugs will be sorted out.
Okay, the what the MDT says on charges, or what it says whenever you actually put them in. Because
When
you put them in, you go back
everything in.
Okay, so when you put it in, you go back and then you come back in and those are the original numbers.
What?
So if you go to the charge screen on the MDT, then those numbers are higher. So just for clarity, because people keep asking me.
Realistically, look, here's the thing.
What?
Just do your goddamn best. The truth is that we're sorting out a bug, and that there are going to be niche use cases where your mileage may vary, right? But the worst possible thing that is going to happen is that
Doing
someone's gonna
regicide
have
right now and I hate
25%
everything about
more
it. Yeah,
fines
regicide
versus,
sucks.
75% less, or 25% less time, right? And the inverse of that is possible as well, that they'll just have equal. Okay.
And I
At the
will
end of the day,
communicate to the
just-
lawyers that they
yeah.
need to just deal with it.
Okay.
Just deal with it. Just let the technicians sort his shit out, and everybody just needs to go back doing their jobs and stop worrying about shit above their
Just
pay
calm the
grade.
hell down.
Wha-
Good shit. I
Pretty
love
much.
that.
The one method I know works is applying the charges fresh after an MDT reset, and then taking a picture of the time and fine that pops up in the top right after you apply the charges the first time. That's the correct value.
Yeah,
Right,
that's too
10 more.
complicated for PD. Just
It's
fucking
taking a
deal with it.
picture.
No,
No,
it's
no, he's
resetting
right.
and then fresh adding, and you said 4 steps before that. Just fucking deal with it until you figure it out. Next.
Okay. Next.
Okay.
There's another question that comes from Command. Helicopters. Do we have any sort of idea of how we can?
I am going to be talking with the state on how much the manufacturer
Crane
is
is
going
right.
to charge them for the
No,
import of the
he's not right.
helicopter.
If they can't
and then
do
we will
that,
relay that.
then they can't do basic
is there any
police
sort
work
of
like taking pictures of
grant
cars
or
on a
anything we
fucking
can get
scene,
in
man.
order
It's
to
literally
assist with
one
that?
screenshot.
There are some discussions occurring about how you could pay for it. It has yet to be determined. For
Okay.
now, it is a look but don't touch. This is something to be excited about for the future, but do not act as if it is actually something you have access to yet, and do not make plans around it.
Okay. So I'll just tell him 1 to 2 weeks.
Just
then.
and this pretty goddamn simple. There's a fucking what's in there in your garage? A police
the
there's
Buffalo.
fancy shit in there. A Buffalo. There's another one that looks like a goddamn Supra that Mary Mushkin tried to sell me 6 years ago.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, just treat it like that shit, okay? For now. It is there. The manufacturers have it on their assembly line. It is not something that y'all have been afforded or, is in place yet.
Okay. As far as EMS low numbers affecting police work, that's still being worked on. There's efforts being made, I guess, it's kind of like a joint EMS PD thing. Some legislation. I want to bring up a specific legislation because just some shit has kind of gotten out of hand. This is something that I've talked about with a lot of folks, and the PD is weak. The PD is honestly filled with a whole bunch of pussies that are afraid to do their job sometimes. So I said, what better than to give the PD I guess a little bit of empowerment through legislation with the Police Vehicle Protection Act, and I went ahead and put that in the in the MDT if you want to take a look at it. It's report 6217. We basically have people stealing our cars and shit and majorly hindering our ability to do our jobs. It's getting bad. And years ago, you know what we did? They're stealing our guns and shit. They're stealing our equipment. We'd shoot their ass. Okay. Now I understand that we can't always do that. However, having it legislated, some degree of qualified immunity, if you want to call it that, hey, if you need to take the force, use the force necessary in the given situation based on where you're standing, where the vehicle is, etc., then you can do that and you're protected in doing that. Because it's getting bad. Like, I went on duty last night a few hours.
You're asking for the ability to shoot people who steal your cars.
Not always. Just use the necessary force. So if you're at a distance, if you're real far away, and that is the only way that you could stop them, sure. If
you already have that in your SOPs.
I was told never that we're never supposed to do that.
Okay, then you're never supposed to do it. We don't override SOPs here.
Okay.
Unfortunately, that's just the reality of the situation. In terms of PD SOPs, this council is not in a position to do that. The state is. The state may communicate as much through, myself or through the mayor in some cases, whatever it may be, like we had under the PCP. But at the end of the day, that is not something we could decide here and now without state input.
Okay. Well, what I'm seeing, let me look through one more time. I think there might not be anything in our SOP specifically about.
Well,
people
yeah, so
trying to
you
steal
just
vehicles.
default to, your SOPs regarding use of force, and if those fail you, then result to the law about self-defense. You cannot protect property with self-defense. And if your
Okay.
SOPs
Was this
don't,
written by Chad
allow you to
GPT?
escalate to lethal force for property either, then there's your answer, I guess.
Who wrote this?
Okay. Well, I mean, if somebody can take a vehicle and they're driving away recklessly, and they're now, I mean, at that point they're fleeing felon, and they have
Well,
police.
your
equipment in the car,
argument,
right?
your argument would then apply to every single bank robbery ever. Just shoot them when they leave.
Well, no, because when you rob a bank, what do you get?
You just said recklessly evading in a vehicle.
Oh, true, but you're stealing police equipment, right? When you rob a bank, you're robbing them of money, right? When you rob a police vehicle, you're robbing them of. I mean, I might have a gun in there. I might have privileged information in there that could be used to harm the public, right? To be held against somebody.
Yeah, but we don't operate lethal force on could. You operate based on your should, right? And the law says that you shoot someone if you can articulate that not only are they fleeing felon, but that they are presently armed and present a continuing and ongoing danger to society, themselves or others. So in this case, for you to articulate that, well, there could be something in there, you would not only have to demonstrate that it was in there, you'd have to demonstrate, they had reasonable knowledge of it being in there, and they had expressed a previous capacity to use that thing and or a current intent to do so. So, for example, if someone were to shoot at the cops and then steal a cop car and run away, then yes, you would shoot them. But if the person just steals the cop car and drives away, then you should not be shooting them.
So what would you recommend that we do? If we're have people stealing our car, I'm standing there 20 feet away from the car and I'm seeing them steal it. And I know I got my damn Glock in there, my backup gun, my other backup gun, my backup badge, everything. Okay.
You keep your guns in like your glove box?
No, I'll keep it in the locked storage. But what if they take the locked storage out? They crack it open.
Cornwood.
Okay.
If someone walks up to you and puts a gun to your head and says, open the locked storage, what do you do as an officer?
I mean, what do I do?
No, what are you supposed to do as an officer?
Well, you're supposed to say no.
Okay, so if that's the case, then your argument is moot. We need to move on from this point.
Okay, sounds good. I guess to that next point, I mean, this is kind of like the middle point of two other things. One of which is a qualified immunity. Is that something that's ever going to be discussed here?
Yeah, we discussed it. Nakota brought up, why isn't it codified? And I said, because it's not a piece of legislation, it's a
nonsense. Thanks for subbing.
Okay.
Qualified immunity is not something that is written down, except in a more narrow sense in certain jurisdictions. It's just a concept that police acting in good faith are not able to be sued like, civilians would be for liability in those things, which is already the precedent. Yeah, it's just a thing that exists. It's not something we write down. It never has been. So the concept that it doesn't exist in writing and therefore it doesn't exist is wrong here.
Okay. So since qualified immunity is essentially implied, excuse me.
Correct.
Then we don't need to have it written anywhere. Don't worry about it then, right?
Correct. But
Okay.
what I'm telling you is that, again, if we're going to discuss like this concept of using qualified immunity as a shield to shoot people who steal your car, that's probably not going to be viewed in good faith, right? Because that's a very clear directive, both from PD command, high command, as well as the law.
Rah, thanks for subbing.
Sure. Okay. So next thing is a castle doctrine. If somebody comes into your home or something, uninvited, unannounced, somebody breaks in, if people can shoot them. Someone's coming in trying to rob your ass.
Make the commissioner a political position under the mayor? Nope.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Commissioner
I don't see a
needs to
problem with defending
exist.
your property.
Yeah, if somebody comes
As the
in onto your
final chain of
property-
command say.
Now, would that apply to your vehicles?
No.
Specifically doesn't.
Vehicles
Tom
are
and
specifically,
Philosophy, thanks
that's
for
the whole
subbing.
reason why you get to search vehicles without a warrant is
Yeah,
because they're not considered to the same level of habitability.
But even on your own property.
And in terms of self-defense, protecting your vehicle is a no-go.
Listen, Cornwood, if
Okay.
you're at home and we have castle doctrine and someone walks onto your property, like my front yard, and starts stealing my car, then yes, I'm going to shoot the fuck out of them.
Right. Okay.
But
That's what I
that
was
is very
clarifying.
different than saying, like, for example, I'm a police officer and I have a police car and I go
Right.
park
No,
it
no,
somewhere
that's
while I'm on
yeah.
duty.
No, I was clarifying at home is what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's something I mean, I don't have something written up for castle doctrines yet, but it's something I'll get written up for the future. I just wanted to
Well, do we have any objections to the concept?
Yeah, can we take a vote on it? The concept of a castle doctrine?
I'm all fucking for that. Go. But
As a
just
future
put it in writing.
homeowner, I'm for it.
You
Y'all
won't
know
hear
my
me
stance.
object to that. Tech my shit all day.
Yo, after
really have an issue with it,
PCP
honestly.
passes, become the interim
My house
commissioner
I
and
don't
asked to be
possess.
onboarded so you can
Y'all
have a
got no
crossover
restrictions
episode and
on
play
my
Cop
land.
Again on
Everyone
Max.
Homeowners.
Oh, they already bought.
Oh,
You even see the house?
Yeah, I'll show you after the meeting.
All right.
Okay. I might add some shit up now while we, wait.
Max, any thoughts?
Let them write it up. We can keep going.
Okay. And then the last thing, well, I guess the last thing ain't even me. It's about it's half me. Police continuity plan. What is there a job description for the commissioner?
I actually just wrote one.
Oh, okay.
Because we're gonna present PCP 2, or just, I guess it is technically PCP 2 because there's some clarifications that I made. I wrote, the commissioner is the absolute head of the law enforcement chain of command. The commissioner does not answer to the mayor's office in any capacity after being selected. Commissioner is empowered to carry out the functions of law enforcement at the highest level as a political attaché between the state and law enforcement communities. Based on my research and discussing things with people, two things we're getting into PCP territory right now. So if I'm going to talk about it, I may as well present it.
Send it. I'm done.
Okay. The changes are as such. In speaking with Barrick, in speaking with Cornwood, in speaking with many officers who have expressed an interest in there being another law enforcement department, I initially came to one conclusion. One, I didn't think that there was anyone capable of being the commissioner. And that was just based upon my experiences with various officers. This sentiment was pretty much agreed by everyone that didn't outright say to me that it was their intention to try to become the commissioner. And I'm willing to err on the side of caution for them. Essentially, my first compromise to this was, okay, the people want another department. What's the harm in that? Two different chains of commands. That's bad. If there are two different chains of commands, and there's a situation where one department wants to chastise someone from another department, and then the person from the original department's like, nah, or the person from the other department's like, nah, that's my deputy. You're just an officer. You're just a sergeant of the LSPD. Blah blah blah. And I got hung up on that for a long time, and I was like, okay, so what's the solution to that? And then I decided, the best way to do it without a commissioner would be to make it so that there was at least a de facto head of chain of command. And that would have been the chief of police in this model. And the sheriff of this other department, because it's going to be a county department, would be equal to the assistant chief. And that would essentially allow for a in theory, fluid chain of command. Then I realized that's fucking stupid. And why am I so afraid of allowing there to exist two different chains of command? What issues could it truly cause that would be ultimately detrimental to the functioning of the police department currently? Because the police department currently has problems that are so vast that I struggle to even call them a police department because their capture rate is so low on an 8-hour basis, on a shift basis, that sometimes it dips down to 2 people per shift. And I mean, if anyone's been out on the look, ultimately, I understand and recognize that it is not the sole purpose of a police department to be this wildly effective crime-crushing unit that is ultimately 100% superior.
Yeah, we wouldn't want to make anybody upset.
Right. And that is sort of the vision that has carried on from the initial 3 captains of the LSPD down to 1 now, down to 1 who thinks it's wise to allow Bobby and Carmine to do a prison transport for Rami Al Rahman from MRPD. There are
6 officers on duty.
With 6 officers on duty, there is clearly problems. And at first, I tried to address this problem with competition. I did it with the quota system. And at first, that worked. Interest in the quota system has dwindled a little bit. I'm still going to keep doing it. But at the end of the day, it all comes back to higher pay isn't necessarily a motivator for people to want to come on duty. What the thing, and I've spoken to Kyle Pred a couple of times, and I'm going to use Kyle Pred as an example. I know something like what Kyle Pred had will never happen again in Los Santos because it was dangerous. It bordered on paramilitary. It was a fanatical cult. But they wanted to work because they knew that because their morale was through the roof, because they could count on each other, and because they could be around each other and know that they had each other's backs. And I think one of the first important building blocks of establishing that level of morale is to allow officers to express themselves in the way of choosing if they wish to represent one uniform or another. This is the primary reason for the PCP coming back, is to allow us to pass this, which I would immediately then follow with a suggestion that we begin the process for allowing officers to run for sheriff, similar to how, we did for mayor or whatever. Get that ball rolling, and then, the week after that, start the election. And then the week after that, get them up in the Sandy Shores Police Department and get them rolling on that. And after I spoke to a couple of officers, ultimately the model I wanted to settle on was 2 different chains of command. And I know that this has the potential to cause some tension if there's ever disagreement between 2 different commands about, what they feel should happen to one particular officer if there's a disagreement. And the solution to that is to appoint a commissioner. And as I've said, there is no one suitable to be commissioner right now. So another addition that I added to this document is to allow the mayor to act as a person who will mediate and determine final decisions that could not otherwise be reached by between 2 separate chain of commands established if and when a secondary law enforcement department is established courtesy of this plan. That's what I wrote.
Could you repeat that? Sorry, the first part. Who was going to do that?
The mayor.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Sorry, I just missed that.
So the hypothetical here is, let's say Sergeant McNulty decides that Deputy Dickhead deserves to be punished. And let's say Sheriff Cornwood's like, nah. And reverses that decision, and then the sergeant brings it to the chief of police, and the chief of police goes to the sheriff, and they can't reach an agreement. Then they would come to me. They would present me with all of their information and stuff, and I would make an unbiased decision, similar to how the commissioner should, because the commissioner would not belong to any law enforcement department, and that would be to ensure that it is able to enact the absolute unbiased decisions that must be made by someone at the head of that chain of command. Because ultimately, 2 different it already happens with the different police shifts. They are tribal, and I think a certain level of tribalism is good because it builds toward that morale that we're trying to establish, that has not been established, and it is the reason for lower activity right now out of the police department, which is then a reason for the lower capture rate, so on and so forth. It needs to be done in such a way that the commissioner can carry out their duties when they are finally selected, and I hope to God that someone can prove themselves in the next 2 months, 2.5 months or whatever, where I can confidently be like, okay, John, federal government, this person is the one who is going to move forward, who is able to be level-headed, blah, blah, blah. It's a whole fucking thing. But long and short of it is simple. If this passes, I will move that a law enforcement department will open in the north. I will move that the sheriff elections begin. And I will move that I will moderately and carefully, if I'm even called upon, resolve disputes between these two different chains of command. Because right now, I think that internally, the various law enforcement officers of Los Santos could use a bit of competition amongst each other. I think that the competition typically breeds improvement. And I think that if one department excels, it might also inspire the other department to excel. At this point, I'm willing to try anything. This isn't how I always felt. But, you know, between there being maybe 5 or 6 officers for shift 2 and 0 officers for shift 3, I think it's time to try anything.
I mean, look, let's call a spade a spade. People are finally seeing the same shit I saw 3-4 months ago. Yeah, everybody sees it, everybody knows it. So I'm glad people are starting to understand, because it's getting egregious.
What is it?
Do you want this meeting to go another 3 hours?
Oh God.
Well, you're I know you're just. I mean, trying to understand, you know.
I feel like I have to ask, and this will be with the caveat. This is not intended to shit on it. I'm here for the sheriff's office. I've done all that. But wasn't the first PCP meant to fix things?
Yeah, it was. And unfortunately,
what do you think's different here? I am actually open to hearing.
It was to fix the chain of command issues, though, right, Max?
it was intended to fix everything. Right now, I have done everything that I can for now for the LSPD, and what its representation is for is to establish the sheriff's office, essentially, and to allow there to be 2 different chains of commands, and to allow there to be a voice that can settle disputes should they arise between both of those departments.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's PCP 2. Questions? Concerns?
Do you foresee an immediate benefit to deploying a parallel development track for law enforcement? Do you do you think doing bounty, like quota bounties, for example, would just create an immediate incentive for departments to compete and shape up? You know what I mean by a bounty? First department to get to 10 arrests for this problem crime, something like that.
It would allow me to expand the quota, which would then probably have that hopeful result. I know that they'll compete with each other, and I want them to.
Do you think that
Well, and that begs the question, though. If we're talking about a department up north and a department in the city, do they just have identical jurisdiction and requirements? Because
yeah. At the end of the day, right now, I could not, in good faith, ask the sheriff's office to stay out of Los Santos, because I know that there aren't enough units to even patrol Los Santos right now.
Okay, well then that makes it, the competition thing kind of has to go out the window then, right?
Not necessarily. If a Blaine County Sheriff's Office officer gets a traffic stop, they tag it BCSS. This has specifically to do with the quota.
Right. So I'm saying kidnapping, for example. Let's say there's a laundromat.
Sure.
And the LSPD operate out of the city primarily.
Yep.
Does that mean they just
They're gonna be
create
a huge
every
advantage.
laundromat scene. So they just, you know,
My wife and I will investigate to see who was the leading officer and how many officers were from each department and go accordingly. It's very easy to figure out the particulars.
Yeah, I'm already going
So-
through and adding all of the officers who are involved in each report anyway, and separating them out.
I mean,
Not
just being in
report,
that
sorry, with
situation,
agents in-
I feel like that's going to be a pain in the ass. And so you'd have a different rate of pay between the county officers and the city officers.
It's not possible right now.
Yeah, because that sounds yeah, okay, good. I was just
So my question is this: it's tempting to look at this as a way of saying, okay, well, the PD can't be saved. Let's say abandon it, the idea of fixing it, and rather than like breaking up the structure, the command structure that's not working somehow, to create a whole other department and just start from scratch, which does give and afford opportunities for other people who aren't getting them now to stand out, sure, and it kind of doubles your ability to scout that, but you're still kind of giving up on PD.
Not necessarily. They are allowed to operate as they have, and I think it's important to realize that. I don't think that establishing a secondary chain of command in another police department is saying that the first one has failed. I think that it is an attempt to breed competition in order to inspire morale.
Okay.
Look,
No, that answers my question. It's just tempting to see it that way is all.
Right.
I'm sure you get it.
No, that's fair. I mean, look, there's a major morale issue, and it goes beyond. It goes beyond the scope of what anybody can even see. Whether it's
Trust me, I get
me. Yeah, it's just it's bad. It's miserable. I would go as far as saying it's actually completely dadgum miserable right now.
And I'm not saying this that establishing another department will even be the thing that fixes that. This is an attempt to. I feel like I pussyfooted on this during term 1 because I kind of subscribed to that belief, Murphy, where I was like, listen, if we do that, then that's admitting that all of my efforts and attempts with the LSPD have failed. And I don't. There's a lot of factors at play here that unfortunately I and even people in the LSPD do not have any control over. There are certain directives that must be followed that may not be immediately apparent. There are certain people who unfortunately have lost their job because they felt that they were doing the best that they could within the powers that were afforded to them, only to find out that the rug was pulled out from underneath them.
Mm-hmm.
There are people who it is scary on multiple fronts to be a police officer. And at the end of the day, this is going to be something to allow them to express themselves in a way that will hopefully allow them to build the same kind of community, minus the cult that was present years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get on a soapbox right now, but holy shit. It is hard to stress how horrible it is and how helpless everybody feels. I just it is so damn bad where we're losing officers every day. People eventually they just stop showing up. Right? Some of them have turned to a life of crime, apparently and allegedly. Right? It's just like I don't know. I don't know how much longer and how many more people can take it. It is so bad. Like I think there needs to be a whole mental evaluation on every single person that's in the PD because there's obviously something that's wrong with you. Like some kind of self-harm. Like you obviously hate yourself if you're a police officer right now. It is bad. Like we lost a receptionist 2 days ago. A receptionist. That's how bad the morale is.
Can I add to yours, Cornwall? Just a hot second. I'm not disagreeing whatsoever. I'm actually like I advocate for your shit because as someone that was, you reference Fred's side to it. I worked during that time as a cop for 2 years. If you're not familiar too much, um, morale is a big thing. Leadership is even a bigger thing, though. And you reference Pred's side to it, and he is the type of person that actually they fight for his people publicly and internally.
Right.
Which, as you said, people understand that they have your back, but that wasn't everybody, right? That was definitely a Pred thing for sure. Not all departments were like that. I'll be flat out, right? And that was one of the reasons why I was like, get me the fuck out. I mean, I wasn't in Pred's department. It's a strong leadership that is going to get people to be around someone that actually motivates. Crane, you said it before. Money isn't going to be a determining factor, right? And it is truly putting that right person that is going to motivate people. Listen, I've lived through commissioners. I've lived through all of them, but you got to have someone that's vocal. You got to have someone that's actually there, someone that people want to rally around. If you don't have that, what the fuck are you doing?
Yep. I'm going to be doing a long investigation in the next month or so, provided this passes, to learn from my mistakes from the first PCP and to hopefully select somebody who meets that definition.
I got a question.
Sure.
How are you going to be privy to the issues that they disagree on?
They'll both present their case.
I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of issues in the PD. The bottom line is morale, and what really affects morale negatively. There's the whole I can't catch this criminal, right? That's one thing, but I don't think that's really that bad. I think the pay thing, it's not really that bad, right? Like these aren't really big factors when I say not that bad. I think one thing that really hits hard is when you feel like you can do something or you feel like you should do something, but you have something holding you back, or feeling like you can't do something because you don't have help. You don't have somebody who has your back, right? Now you want to reference Pred and that cult shit he had going on after I left. I don't know, right? What I do know is this. I'm a big believer in the thick blue line, okay? And I do believe that we need to support each other more. I'm sick and tired of seeing police officers not supporting each other, because at the end of the day, I know how this city works, and we're all we got, okay? When you look to your left and you look to your right, that's it. You don't really got much else. And a whole lot of the rest of the world is against you. So the last thing we need to do, and there's a line, but don't mistake my words. This ain't about like asking for a lack of accountability, right? Or less accountability. But the last thing we need to do is to go against each other. Okay. You can still hold one another accountable. You can still teach one another. Okay. And say, hey, this is how we can get better. This is how we can do right by not just each other, but by the city, by the people, by the people that we're here to protect. Right. And hell, since everybody else in this damn city cares so much, even the damn criminals. Okay. Because at a certain point, you ain't going to have nobody to steal from the way things are going. All right.
Yeah, I totally get that. It's like, for all intents and purposes, you're going to war every day. So if you don't feel like the people you're going to war with have your back, and that you don't have that strong leadership who's leading from the front of the charge, like morale tanks really, really fast.
And I'll take it a step
picking that up.
forward. I'll take it a step forward. The leadership needs that. The leadership needs the backup. culture changes at the top. Cultural movements come from the bottom. I think everybody should know that if they don't already. And I think as much as you can try and change the culture at the top, if the people in the middle and the people in the bottom, if they don't have your back, for the record, in our case, I think a lot of people do, but sometimes there's your PD, you got your command, you got your high command, you got your officers, and then you got God. Okay, you got the highest of high command. All right, and sometimes you just got to pray real hard and say, "Good Lord, give me the help I need to go in today and be able to save this city and protect people." Okay, and I just want the Lord's blessing. I want the Lord's blessing for the good people leading us, and that's all I ask. And hopefully that's coming. But until then, we got to do the best that we can within our bounds, and we'll be good.
Are we... so I intend to put this to a vote. Do we have any questions before we do that? Okay. TJ.
TJ? Oh no.
Oh, sorry. I was totally talking,
Huh?
but not talking.
Mm, okay.
I'm guessing you didn't hear anything I just said.
No,
Nope.
no, you're gonna
No.
have to go from the start.
Okay. All right. So I do have a quick question with it.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens after the fact of you're no longer in term? I just kind of want to put that out there. How do they report? What's reporting? What actually happens?
All of those people that are appointed remain appointed. Hopefully a commissioner is chosen so that they can have a final top to the chain of their command.
So you have it in there basically saying you're going to choose a commissioner.
Mm-hmm. No,
When
to
that
be
commissioner's-
to be clear, I'm going to pick who I think is the best, and
Sure.
then I'm going to forward that person to the state, and then they're going to tell me if that person is okay.
Yeah. That's fine. So you choose them. State says okay, sure. They come in. After that point, that commissioner is kind of like you're setting them out on a ship, and they got their own shit together. They got their crew, and then afterwards, you got no longer any oversight, basically, of it because that's now them.
Yep, it kind of reverts to the way that it is for most departments, where there isn't like direct oversight that will raise the flag on potential issues.
Yeah. So you're hand holding him until there's actually off the ground.
Hand holding. I wouldn't say hand holding. I would say
Figuratively.
I know what you mean. Setting them up for success. Just giving them, if they've got any questions, acting as the direct conduit to pass that on and to have that answered for them in a timely manner.
Okay. I got nothing against it.
What is your vote, sir?
Yeah, well, I guess that's a yes.
Solomon. Cantor.
You it's gonna be a bit of a shocker. Actually, yes. You have my vote on this. I can understand what you have laid out for this time around. I don't think the first one was incredibly well executed, but I do actually believe you might have learned from that and want to do something good with it. So so here you are. You've got my vote on that. Also, good job saying Michael did nothing. That really helped. Thank you.
Crane.
Mm-hmm.
Alan.
Yeah. Are you planning on replacing the chief and assistant chief?
They're going to be under review. Vlad, thanks for subbing.
the sheriff election publicly voted?
Yep, that's actually what the original 3 captains wanted, and it's a good idea.
Then, in conjunction with those two things, I would propose an amendment that states that anyone who has been replaced as high command in the past should not qualify to run for sheriff.
Ooh.
Well, recently or
So, for example, if you go through and you decide you're going to, shuffle around the current chief of police or assistant chief of police, or you and the state decide you're gonna, do all these different things, then I don't think those people should be eligible for some kind of golden parachute to just go become a sheriff.
what if they were high command years ago?
Good
Like
question.
a Matt Rhodes or myself.
You were. I don't think you count, Corwin.
Okay, what about Matt Rhodes?
Wait, do we really have to tell him? Hello. Oh shit!
What
my
I'm saying
man,
is
what's
you.
going on?
What I'm saying is you
This
could run
meeting
for
ain't
sheriff.
Shit, I'm always talking to you, baby. What's going on?
What the fuck?
Oh.
How could you
What
close
the
this?
hell?
This is.
Yeah, get in. Where are you at, Slime?
I know
What
how
the
that
hell?
goes.
What?
No, you're on the wrong floor, buddy.
I had a little line about the sheriff's election in the PCP.
You're on the wrong floor. Where the fuck?
Wait, what the hell just happened?
I don't think anyone knows.
I don't know. Okay. Yeah.
I'm
I
not
see
too
that.
worried about it.
Will you just relax
Yeah.
a second?
I think that's great.
He's hammered.
All right, get in here, buddy.
Get him in here. He's hammered, and I gotta go save the
All
hostage
right.
situation.
What's going? Oh, Zuckerberg, what's going on, guys?
Hey, this is and Wingle. Wingle's here too. I'm just gonna.
Hey,
Oh.
Uh-huh.
I'm taking a break.
Okay.
Fair enough.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, that's right, Fingal. Get in here. Sorry, guys, I got some special guests.
He's
Wait,
really
the
drunk.
Fingal done? Hi, Fingal.
He's really. He's
Oh
coming.
my
He's
God,
just
you're
really-
having a
Holy
Suck
shit,
here
Fingal.
virtually.
What's good, y'all?
Oh, hi.
How we hanging?
Oh my god.
What's
Howdy,
up?
Fingal.
He's been
Yeah, what's going on, gang?
What's your first name?
Fingal,
You.
but you said it to Wingle.
I heard your voice.
Yeah, he didn't walk in yet.
I voice
was
ID'd you.
whispering.
I
was
voice ID'd
whispering,
you.
Siobhan.
I could hear you before you walked in through the
I
door.
called you a lot today, Siobhan.
I know you did,
I
Fingal. I'm really
noticed you
sorry.
Didn't pick up the phone, but
And in this
everybody
meeting,
else
Fingal.
did.
Ooh.
What's up?
I take meetings really
What
seriously.
is
If I was
up?
meeting with you, I
Crazy
would do
shit.
the same thing, Fingal. I would ignore everyone else's
Yeah, I know
calls
who
if I was
Wingle-
meeting with
I know-
you.
I see
Who's in
Zuckerberg
front of me?
there. Who's
Look
this
like
blue shirt
collateral
guy?
Tom Cruise.
Fingal.
This is
Oh my
Murphy
Man is
Braun.
real.
It's
You
good.
tried to
Braun.
set me up for killing a cop. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember you. Are you in this room?
I just
right
woke
now?
up at the apartments and you're like, oh,
Good
you
morning.
must have killed that cop. Let's go to jail now. That was fun.
Yeah, I'm not about that anymore. I'm
Not
just
about that life.
very legal.
Hey, Fingal, you want to be
Yeah,
police
me too.
commissioner?
I tried. I
Sure.
did the same
Good
thing. I
choice.
said the exact same thing. Believe it or not.
That is a good
Alright,
choice.
Yeah,
That is
Crane,
a
I
good
would
pick-up.
really like that if that's okay.
Hey,
Is
you gotta
that
talk to
Alex?
Max. You gotta talk to the guy with the face tat
I've
on
never
that
seen
one.
this guy in my life.
Hey, Alex, it's Fingal Dan.
Oh, hey, Fingal Dan.
Yeah, you gotta talk
What
to the
up,
guy
real?
pissing in the corner.
Yeah.
Hey,
Fingal,
Cornwall.
what's
Oh wait,
going
you know
on?
you're also a
Howdy,
DOC.
Fingal. It's good seeing you.
Yeah,
Sorry
it's
again
really
about running you
good
over at like
seeing-
140 miles an hour like 8 years ago.
Yeah, I remember that. I
Wait,
remember
Fingal, you know you're a DOC, right?
You see?
There's
DOC.
a law. There's a law right now. Okay, so get this, Fingal. We made and bear with me because I know it sounds crazy, but I'm sober, so trust me.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
we
me
made a
too,
law
He's
man.
not.
so that Carmine Costello and Bobby Charles run the prison,
Yeah.
and it's a lawless zone where anything goes, and the only people
Fingal, you know
pre-authorized to be
Fingal.
hired are the Dans and the Littlemans.
Put the dance in there?
Yeah, so you get to go just sign on a DOC whenever you want and go fucking kill people and do other shit in there.
You're not just tricking us to go to
Alright.
jail again.
No,
No,
you get to walk in as a
very
guard. I'll
real.
hire you right
Yeah.
now.
That's what I was saying. They'll just give you
All
guns
right,
over there.
you need
I'm
too.
gonna
my-
give you a staff
I'll
profile.
go
Hold
there
on.
right now.
Fingal. Hey, Fingal, I need
Oh, this is real.
I'll send you an email, Fingal.
Yeah, man. So
You
what's
can
the
have
meeting
people
about?
pay you to hunt inmates.
Haunt?
True.
Like a ghost?
Yeah, I've heard of these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a
I'll
ghost,
fuck with
but a
that.
ghost with a gun.
What I'm saying is like DOC is a lawless zone. You could get paid by people to hunt people for sport.
Mm-hmm.
It
All
happens.
right,
Why is
Fingal, I
Mark
need those two
Hamill
pieces of
on the
info, and then
wall?
I can hire you.
Okay, but why do you have Mark Hamill Joker on the wall?
Oh, that's my
Oh
inspiration.
my god, it is.
And can we sit down at the table today?
Yeah, go for it. Grab a seat.
I'll sit next to Murphy. I'll take Cornwood's seat for now.
Hey, yeah.
4.5 hours in. Tension's high? Oh, okay. All right.
Well, you
Yeah,
kind
we're
of
just
missed
getting
the
started.
tensions high part, to be honest.
Cornwood, how do you? There we go.
Yeah, just go
Anybody
ahead and just
scream
turn
at
the
each
load off.
other?
There you
What's
go.
a goopy
yes.
meal?
Oh, who?
Me versus Max. So
Oh, nice. Did you scream too, or just Max?
Max,
Oh, yes,
Max
I
told
did.
Cornwood to shut the fuck up in a very loud tone.
Oh,
Yeah,
It's
but I
crazy.
did that on purpose.
nice.
Wingle, you're looking slim. You working out?
Yeah.
Nice.
He wants
I'm
a
on
gun.
that,
I've also been
What makes
working
you got a
out.
gun? Don't worry.
I'm on the same pills Drake was
Oh
on.
You're
yeah,
looking great,
you,
Fingal.
you look amazing.
Ozempic? I think-
Damn.
Yeah.
Look like you just woke up out of that coma.
Oh, I heard that's pretty good.
You
Murphy
got a missile
Brahms
on
looking
you?
very skinny.
Oh,
Was
yeah,
that
it looks
Yeah,
great on
I'm
you.
back.
Is that
I
Ozempic?
stay pretty active.
Ozempic?
No, just diet and exercise.
Come on, Bron. Be real with us.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm being
Hello.
real.
Hey.
Hello.
Correct.
To what?
Hey, Max, I'd like to formally
Welcome back.
nominate Fingal Dan as police commissioner.
Hello, young dad.
I thought you had cancer.
Yeah, I tweeted a bunch of diseases: cancer, gout, AIDS, like the whole 9 yards, all of it.
You know, I used to know a guy
Thanks,
who
buddy.
who used to keep his AIDS-infected blood in a needle and would stab people with it.
Yeah. That guy taught me everything I know.
Nice.
What was his name again?
You wanna?
Oh, what was his
You
name?
wanna
I was there when
hear
they
his-
raided his
You
house.
want to
once.
hear his name?
His name is Leslie.
Yeah, Leslie.
You do
yeah,
not.
that's-
You have no idea.
Yeah,
what I'm talking
Leslie.
Oh, shit.
about. You have no
Leslie
idea what I'm talking
Lincoln.
about.
Oh no,
Leslie?
there were two people with AIDS-infected blood then, because there was another guy that did that too.
The Hangover.
How has that happened twice?
James Randall.
You remember The Hangover? Leslie.
Oh, it's happened more than twice. Trust me.
Oh my
Leslie
god.
Chow.
Yeah, Leslie Chow.
Uh-huh.
No. No.
So what's
Oh,
the
we
deal?
were just in the middle of a vote.
Yeah, we actually.
Alan,
were
what was the
one.
amendment you said you were proposing?
Something about past high command not
That's
getting a
right.
golden parachute to be voted as sheriff.
I wrote it.
Two-time loser
there.
provision.
I wrote in
it's
the
on list.
PCP, a sheriff election should be public, semicolon. Any officer, so long as they have not been replaced as high command in the past, may run for sheriff.
It's
Sounds
near the
good to me.
bottom.
In
Well,
English.
as long as they've not been
Yeah,
replaced.
Doc.
is
Come
how-
on, Doc. English, please.
Means you can't be a two-time loser.
Oh,
Well, hold
Yeah,
on.
we only take W's here, Fingal.
True.
W.
and where do the Dans qualify on the loser scale?
We're not
Is
on
that-
it.
Be DOC.
Yeah, you guys are
Or-
exempt.
Oh,
Still, are we talking post collapse or?
well, obviously they're talking post-collapse, Cornwood.
Okay. I
Fatty.
would hope.
Nobody cares.
Oh
what
my
anybody did
God.
in the past.
I mean, it's been 5 years.
What's your vote, Crane?
With the amendment, yeah, for sure.
Fingal Dan.
To what you will.
What did everyone else say?
Yes.
Yes, so far.
Do the classic
Yes.
55 subs.
Okay.
Cletus Cornwood.
Yes, this is Jeff Foxworthy.
Give Bones a vote.
I abstain.
Okay. Head of bar Murphy Brown.
I am progressive about policing. Yes.
Chief of Staff Devon Thoroughbred.
Duh.
I'm also a yes. Sergeant Jeffrey Bones.
We shouldn't fire him.
Ooh.
No, we're not talking about firing you.
Oh,
Not
Maybe.
yet. That's the next discussion.
Eventually.
Yeah.
I don't think we
That's
should
why
fire
you're
him.
here.
We're not firing anyone, jackass.
All right.
We're
good.
allowing. We're voting on allowing Max to do the PCP again.
Oh, promote him.
So that's a yes.
It sounds like a yes.
Cool.
Okay, so 2 abstains, the rest yes. Immediately now I would ask the Chief Justice to open up sheriff elections. Or rather,
Yeah, I got to do signups first, and then we'll vet
signups,
the
yeah, yeah.
signups, and then we'll do the ballot, and blah 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 blah. Yes.
okay,
Okay.
good, awesome. I pledge to do my best to act kind of similar to a judge when it comes to making impartial decisions as the mayor when resolving disputes between 2 chains of command. I just want them to succeed. I really do.
What's the problem?
Have you considered tying yourself to a different boat?
Nope. This is the boat. This is the boat that I want.
I
Hey,
respect
I'm
the
saying
effort.
DOJ is a steamliner.
big
We're
boat.
chugging along.
Yeah, because they got a dictator at the head.
Exactly. Goddamn right.
With that, they need a dictator, man. They do.
Oh, now I get it.
Oh,
That's
I'll
what
take
it
a
is.
leave of
Alright.
absence. I'll do it. No problem. I'll be sheriff. Okay, I accept.
Commissioner is what I need you as.
Oh,
I thought I
man.
was.
Sheriff
getting
gets
that.
like a better outfit, right?
Yeah,
What
sure.
about
Yeah.
the Fingal thing? Did he get
Yeah,
fired?
What about did I get fired already? Because
Fired
Okay,
for
There's
what?
a lot of
Yeah.
people saying Fingal. Damn.
I swear, Crane, you would not have to change a single thing about yourself to be commissioner.
Probably not.
You could wear the
No, you
same
wouldn't.
shit.
You could interchange Fingal and Crane for this, and it would be like the same. you
Okay,
know what I'm
no,
saying?
now I'm cooking. What if I hire a Fingal as an interim chief justice, and then I'll be
Yeah.
the commissioner?
I'm not opposed to that.
Yeah, I'll
I
show up.
love it.
You're saying this is a joke,
You'll
but
be
I'm not
here.
opposed to that.
I'm on my 48% shit right now.
We both drunk. Like a lot.
No, he's sober, Fingal. He's
No, he's
sober.
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 No, it's just you,
He's
big
not.
dog. It's
Nah,
just
he
you.
knows.
He's fucking lying.
Can
out
you-
his ass.
can we get a
45
glass
milligrams
check?
deep, let's be fair.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he's
okay.
high.
Hell
All
yeah.
right. All right.
Cool.
Yeah, okay, we can discuss the particulars later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone can run for sheriff that so long as they're a cop and so long as they have not been replaced as high command before.
And they are approved by the
Yeah,
state
fuck
in a
it.
screening process that will occur directly before the ballot is open. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I never
Perfect.
been that.
Amazing.
I mean, Cleus, you said you were done? Before that?
I am. Yeah, I'm done.
Want your seat back?
Braun?
No, it's good. I like standing.
sheriff's
I'm
all-
cooking
I
something.
actually-
It's
I
not
kinda
quite
like
ready yet.
season-
I want to do a lot more of the work up front because it's a softer piece of legislation. So I don't want to vote on it and then be stuck with the work. So
Okay.
Real
I
quick,
got some other things to do on it.
What up, Cantor?
before we move past that, is the sheriff
yield.
reelected every 3 months, or did we codify that? I don't mind either way. Was just
Hmm.
wondering. I'm assuming it'd be replaced eventually, or is it like once you voted, you're just there?
That's a good ass question. Actually, should
Yeah.
should we force a 6-year revote for sheriff?
3 months is a lot, so not a lot, not a lot at all.
Yeah.
6 year though. That's
Sorry,
that's
I meant
a lot.
6 month. 6 month.
6 months.
6 months.
Cornwall, what do you think as the PD here? Since I'm I don't really have a horse in this race.
I think that if the sheriff,
I don't think
Do
6
we
is
have
bad,
term
and they
limits?
could rerun. Yeah, that was what I was thinking, right?
Yeah.
yeah, it depends on if you have term limits or not. I think if you have an election every 3 months with no term limits, I think that's good. Probably.
Okay.
I have to think about it.
I
more.
love
mean, this is something we
quarterly.
can
I
figure
think
out
I
later.
think that the
I like
state and the
quarterly.
commissioner should probably just
think about that.
well, no, they should evaluate. Well, so what we did with the judge elections, and what we still will do when we implement them again, as we discussed today, is you basically give people 2 terms as a voted judge or sheriff or whatever, and if after those 2 terms the state is like thoroughly satisfied with their performance, the state has the option to just appoint them as sheriff, right?
Okay.
Because it
Yeah.
may be that things are going great and that person is the right person for the job. And if the state doesn't decide to do so, then you just continue with the same cycle of elections, right? That's typically what's worked in the past, at least for the judge stuff.
It's like achieving tenure.
Pretty much, yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Getting tenure, and the state is the one that weighs in on tenure. I think is fair.
I mean, they need some time to
I
cook.
don't dislike that. Yeah.
I
What do you
added
think about that, Max?
I added I added a sheriff will have a 2-term maximum as an elected official. The state can decide to appoint the sheriff in question for a more permanent term if they are found to have served exceptionally well.
Perfect. Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Cool.
So I have a job or?
Yeah, we'll get you something.
Like Chief Justice, I think.
Bingo, I can hire you for a million things. Don't worry about it.
All right.
You could be chief
And can
justice of the prison.
Zuckerberg and Wingle can have a job too.
You'll
Oh,
figure it
twofer?
out.
Word.
Little threefer.
At the very least, you guys get to go kill people indiscriminately in the jail.
Oh,
Who's recording
Just
this
like
shit?
the war. That's what
I
I'm fucking talking about.
I added sheriff
Such
election
one.
should happen roughly every 3 months.
Sounds good.
Perfect.
Sounds good.
Zuckerberg, I'll get you another RPG for you. Don't worry.
Word. I handle it.
I would
Do,
like
do
to
we
be
have an
king.
ETA on realistically when the election would begin and how long it would last?
My typical schedule is that we take about it's about a 4 to 6 day period for signups.
Why can I not spell this?
So I will announce, like, let's say 3 days ahead of time, the 4 to
I
6
got
day
it.
period opens on this date at this time. I then put up the signups. People then sign up. At the time and date of the signups closing, there is then a week-long election of pure voting,
no, we don't
and
need
then
that.
it is announced at the end of the election.
Would it be unreasonable to ask for that sign up period to be shorter because there's only a very limited amount of people that are going to be putting their names in anyway, more than likely?
It is essential that we keep it around a week to allow for people who, might have something going on and don't want to miss such a monumentous thing. So in all fairness to everyone, we always need to at least 4 to 6 days. I think is fair. We've done even longer in the past. That's my shortened version.
Okay.